of Philadelphia. I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show.
Oh, good morning. Happy Friday to all across the Delaware Valley. This is the Anthony Gargano Show, and we are presented by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. TrueMark.com/PHLY to see the credit union difference. Hey, we're here every morning, and, been doing this for a long, long time. And normally, I'd like to play therapist, right? Like, I like to look at the big picture, and as much as I can be emotional, I always take a pragmatic approach and love to kind of talk to you guys, right? Love to be here, as your own psychiatrist, right? As your guy that you can commiserate with. That's kind of, I always thought my role was here, right? Being born from the soil and connecting with you guys. That's why I came home from New York, and I just love it here, and we love our teams, and we share this stuff. Today, I kind of need you. Today, I kind of need you guys because you ever get in this mode where things are on your nerves, right? Things are worried that you're worried. Things like bother you, and you just need to purge. And look, things aren't bad. Like, it's not like things are bad, but I do feel the need to purge a little bit. And so I kind of want to lean on you today, all right, along with my whole crew here. First, I'm watching Yankees Guardians, and I'm looking, and I'm going, this was such a thrilling game. First of all, we had baseball practice, right? So I'm watching the game on my phone during baseball practice, keep an eye on things. It was amazing, right? The Guardians are up 3-1. Clase comes in the 8th inning, right? He's their closer, flamethrower. He gives up a 2-run bomb to Judge. 2 strikes. Oh, my God. I can't believe it. Gave him a cookie, and Judge, 2-run bomb, 3-3. Then Stanton goes yard, right, to make it 4-3 on a back-to-back piece. Oh, my God. I'm like, those poor people in Cleveland. That's all I kept thinking about. The Yankees tack on a run, and then it's 5-3, bottom of the 9th. So I'm leaving to come home. And I'm looking on my phone, and I see that Cleveland gets the first man on. And then Ramirez hits into somebody hits into a double play. So now it's it, right? So I go, all right, Naylor, I think, hit into a double play. So I'm thinking, all right, well, that's the game. And then I kind of turn it off and I forget about it. And then my buddy Boo texts me, dude, you see what happened? I'm like, nah. And next thing you know, you find out that Noel comes off the bench, pinch hit. He's a big bopper. He had a couple against the Phillies this year. And it ties the game, thrilling, right? So I'm like, oh, my God, I get home, I put it on, and it's just awesome. Like, it's great October baseball. And then from that game right to Dodgers-Mets, and here's Ohtani with a Schwar bomb, right? Leading off the game, an Ohtani bomb. And you're like, oh, my God, and the Dodgers beating up on the Mets. And all I keep thinking about is the Phillies. Like, we're missing out on all this incredible October drama. All of this amazing. And I'm still upset. I'm still not over it. So there's that. And I'm watching Bo Nix and the Broncos defense. Now, the Saints are a mess because of all the injuries. And I start thinking about Sunday. And I'm going, Sunday's a referendum, really, on this team. Sunday, first of all, you got to win. It's the Barkley game. I know you're banged up, right? Slay didn't practice. Jalen Carter didn't practice. I think Jalen Carter was going to play, but he didn't practice. And obviously, no Mailata, right? But the Giants have no Andrew Thomas, who is their left tackle and the best player other than Malik Nabers on their offense. The Eagles at least have capable backups. They got a really good line. They can withstand losing Mailata for a little bit. And even Goddard, even though they're a little thin at tight end, they should still win, right? I started thinking about things, and I'm going, all right, this is a referendum. And I'm worried about the quarterback. I really am. I hear people say, well, he played well Sunday. I mean, did he? I mean, he threw a nice, at the end, that was a nice ball he threw to AJ. I mean, AJ went up and bailed him out on the one touchdown. I mean, listen, there is some sort of disconnect between the first quarter lack of game script and lack of execution and the middle of the field. And people go, like we had one commenter say, well, they don't have any skill people. That's nonsense. First of all, you could put A.J. Brown in the slot. He's not like he hadn't worked there before. And not like Devontae can't go in the slot every once in a while either. You got Dallas Goedert. So I don't want to hear you had no skill people. That's ridiculous. And then you go, well, how come Kellen Moore's not putting them in the slot? Now, Kellen Moore worked the middle of the field when he was in Dallas. We heard from Zach Berman that it's a collab with the quarterback, the offense. We saw Jalen changing plays. There is some sort of aversion where he does not like to go to the middle of the field. Throwing windows, going through progressions. There's stuff that he's got to get buttoned up because the only way that they're actually going to make a run and win the division is if this offense really comes to life. This offense needs to be incredible. All right? Like, the weakness in the front. I like the young secondary. I love the young corners. I love those kids. And they're going to be good. But, how they're going to win a division and make the playoffs is by their offense. They have everything. They're loaded on offense. We've talked about it all the time. But the quarterback needs to get things buttoned up. Now, I don't know. I don't know. He's not comfortable under center, right? There's a feeling out there that there's a lot of stuff with Jalen, like things that he likes and doesn't like. That it feels like hype. Now, again, I'm just giving you my read on things. The quarterback needs to play well. He needs to play like a quarterback, not just make a couple splash plays. That's the only way this offense will really work. So I'm worried about it. And Sunday will be a test because the Giants' defense is good. They're good against the run. They're going to be shading Barkley, right? You're going to overload to try to stop Saquon. Jalen's going to have to make some plays. Jalen's going to have to play well. This is a big game and a big test. It's almost a referendum on Sunday. So I got angst about that. And then last time, Dalton Knecht. Now, do you remember Dalton Knecht? He played for Tennessee. He was like a one-man squad for Tennessee. Tennessee was good, but he was clearly the number one scorer. Like, he was the man at Tennessee. He would get doubled and tripled, and he's hitting bomb threes and the whole thing. And he was on the board when the Sixers drafted. Now, they went McCain, and, I don't know. I mean, again, other people like him more than I do. I hope that he can become he's an undersized 2, right? Like, I hope he becomes a player. I don't know. He's got some skills, I mean, no doubt. But I remember Dalton Knecht on the board going, how do you pass up Dalton Knecht? When he was there, there's a wing player, the guy who could score. You need a team that's struggling, that has struggled in the past to score outside of Joel and Tyrese. I mean, I thought he was the perfect fit on a wingless team. I love what Morey did with building a roster, but I do think Knecht was a problem. So he scores last night. He scores 35 points last night. He scored, now again, it's preseason, so I don't want to make a big deal out of it, but, I mean, it's pretty obvious. He scores 20 of their Lakers' last 22 points. And I'm just going, you always got to take the guy that people double team, right? And still score 25. So I'm kind of unnerved about that a little bit, all right? The only thing that I can watch with pure joy right now are the Flyers. And I watched last night, And listen, I know they lost. It's the last game of a 4-game road trip out west to start the season. And Fedotov may not be your answer. In fact, JP and I were just talking about him. He's massive, but he's not quick, right? He's not real quick. So he may not be the Russian freighter, may not be the answer in net. And, listen, but the power play looks different. It looks alive. They look alive. They're fascinating and fun to watch. So, I can enjoy them, especially with the other 3 teams. I just have angst around them. There's this angst. All right. Thanks for letting me unload off my chest. Good morning, JP Johnson. VG. Wow, this is great.
What's going on? Football Friday. Because it's fired up, too. Let's go.
Huskers.
Big Red.
I'm not fired up as much as I got angst.
Okay.
I got
Is
angst.
it nerves?
Yeah, like nervines. Yeah, angst.
On
got
edge.
angst. I got angst surrounding, and I gave you, the baseball was incredible last night.
Man, Cleveland, the ballpark.
I know.
Great season,
I was
guys.
eating my heart out. I swear to you, I was eating my heart out going.
You want to take a look at one of those home runs? I think we got some loaded.
You do? Give me the Noel one. The
Yeah.
Noel.
A little early,
The
no
Noel one.
TG. The Noel one's great.
Oh,
The call
dude.
on it's great.
Yeah, give it to me because I want
Rocking the
to
changeup.
wallow in my angst a little more. Here we go. Oh man,
And he knew it.
into the night.
Adios.
This has tied it!
Yeah, see, man.
The ultimate present under the tree!
The ultimate present under the tree.
Oh my goodness!
Big Christmas is great. It might be one of the greatest nicknames ever. Big Christmas.
Great call.
It's a great call. The best present under the tree. Big Christmas delivers. Big Christmas. You can't get any better of a nickname than Noel. I mean, he's unbelievable.
I don't know about
Big
you guys,
Christmas.
but I always have a soft spot for Cleveland. I don't know if it's because our parallels of sports,
they
but I
stink.
always
Dude, you know why
such
you have a
bad
soft
luck.
spot? Because you're a good soul. You're a pure soul, JP.
But you don't have a soft spot for
I
them?
do. Yeah,
Oh,
I
all
do too.
right,
No,
yeah.
I do. Listen, if you care about people, you got to care about Cleveland sports. It's so bad that you just go, your pity goes down because they love sports.
they do.
They love sports there.
good
They're
sports
like
town.
us. It's a good sports
The
town.
way they ripped their football team away from them.
It's awful.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're
Brutal.
awful. I mean,
Watch
you
Ravens
don't
win
even
the
know
Super
the
Bowl.
losses. Like they have their losses.
But the two drives.
The drive and the fumble.
Oh yeah.
Ernest Biner. They had a guy like Bernie Kosar who was
Yeah.
actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Throwing a
He
Webster
was.
Slaughter.
Oh, snap.
Right? But
Yeah.
they can never get past.
Schottenheimer.
Yeah, they can never get past the Broncos, and they were always fail, and then they were just horrible, and then you signed Deshaun Watson.
You think we have bad quarterback luck, man? They haven't had a QB since Bernie
They're at
Kosar,
30.
probably.
Since what 99? They're at 30, right?
It's brutal.
Well, remember when the Eagles take Donovan? You remember the Browns had the first pick.
Timmy
What they
Couch
take Tim
Tim
Couch, yeah.
Couch.
out of Kentucky.
Yeah, that's right. Good knowledge out of you. Yeah, and I mean that's sad. And of course, Cleveland never wins. And the only time they're matched up, they're in the World Series, and it was an epic World Series against the Cubs. So
Yes.
the Cubs
Yes.
were like America's darling, and the Cleveland, who were the Indians back then, almost won it,
They did.
except for the rain. The rain came in. I don't know if you
Dude.
know. So that town, they're cursed.
Yeah.
To no end that they're cursed.
They should have won 97 too.
Yeah,
They should have beaten the
you
Marlins.
should have been. I covered that
They're
World
like
Series.
a fan base, I feel like, where like if we're on a sinking ship, we got in the lifeboat. Like if I had to save any fan base, I'd save the Cleveland guys.
I'm with you, VJ.
Pull them in the boat with us. Like I want
Agreed.
to see them win something at some point.
Let him
Agree.
sink. Let him sink.
Except the
Aw,
Cavs.
come
Come
on,
on,
Frazier.
Frazier.
I'm out on the Cavs. Browns, I said more the Browns fans
I
for
will
me.
say-
and
The
the Guardians.
tribe, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I'm anti-Cavs too.
Yeah.
yeah, but when they won in 2015,
Cavs got stick around.
They do.
I was at a bar and I watched them
Plus
win
the
the
color's
finals.
horrible. Brown color. Ugh.
The moon, not been in the moon.
Yeah.
When they won, I sat there and I thought to myself, like, because we were doing the process, I'm like, we have a chance. The Sixers can win. If the Cleveland Cavaliers won a finals, that we can win a finals. I'm still sitting here saying the same thing.
You know what's amazing is that if you go back, the Sixers and Cleveland Cavaliers have a history together. The Pat Williams, who was the GM of the Sixers back in the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
He just pillaged the Cleveland GM. They traded 2 first-round draft picks for a guy named Terry Furlow, who's it's horrible. He died in a car crash. It's awful.
Oh my God.
Anyway, one of those picks turned out to be Charles Barkley.
Oh man.
And the Sixers were coming off of a title. And they had the number 10. How about this? They had the number 5 pick and the number 10 pick in the Jordan draft. And number 5 was Barkley. Number 10 was a guy named Leon Wood, who was a point guard who failed and turned out to be a referee.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, crazy. Crazy.
Craig Elo.
Craig Elo. Wow.
man.
That's a great name. Cavaliers, Craig Elo. So that's my baseball thing, right?
Yeah.
That's my baseball angst. My Sixers angst. Again, we sat here after the draft. What did we all? I know I said it. I'm sure you guys agree.
We were at the draft watch party,
Yeah.
and everyone was we were like, we got Dalton Connects coming to us. We got Dalton
That's
Connect.
all I heard from the bro, Jamie Lynch. He's like, Dalton Connects here. Dalton Connects here. We got to take him. And then, boom, Jared McCain. I'm the first thought.
Everyone's like, who? Who?
No, well, I knew him because I knew him from TikTok. I was
Right.
like, people are going to hate this because of the TikTok.
And listen, I don't care about stuff like that.
Right.
That's all I watch. But he's an undersized too, right? Like that was always my you have an undersized. You already have Maxey, right?
Yeah.
So an undersized 2 felt more like redundancy. Like he could never play with Maxey. If down the line, not this year, right? But down the line when he actually would get run, he would be undersized. Meanwhile, don't connect. All you did was watch him drain threes. He got guys draped all over him. My God.
Two and 3 guys draped all over
Are
him.
you kidding me?
Yeah.
And I'm like, Eel, come on, bro. How do you pass him up?
In a wing era of NBA, we rarely get any good wings.
We have no wings.
We never develop them either. And
We're a
had
bunch of thighs.
we had the wing whisperer in Nick Nurse.
You need a guy who can stretch the floor. You know how many threes he hit last night?
How many?
8.
Oh,
dude.
Oh my God, it's like how talk about overthinking stuff. Like this is some of the things I freak out with these GMs. And they're getting paid ridiculous money, right? It's like, dude, it's obvious. It's in your face. You freaking kick a shoot. Right? Gets a shot off.
Yeah.
He's tall enough to get a shot off. He can shoot it. He was double and triple in college, and you overthink it.
That's not how he was playing at Toledo. He's in a power conference. The guy was
SEC basketball, man.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's good basketball down there.
He's a polished player. Oh my God! Like, how can you be so ridiculous? That's the stuff that gives me angst. Really, it gives me angst.
Who needs a 6'9" wing guy that's burying threes in the face of 7'3" Bull?
I mean, listen, I guess preseason all, but
Yeah.
that don't lie.
No.
That don't lie.
No, he's gonna be good. He's gonna be a good player for them.
Ah!
Well, listen, we're hearing good things from Jared McCain. They're saying that he's well developed. He's far beyond his years.
Come on, man. Come on. Right now, I mean, you put 2 side to side for the rest of their career. Who you backing?
Listen, I get it, and it sucks right now because Dalton fits what we need.
We're in if people on the outside see us, we're in a good spot with all our sports for the most part, and it feels so miserable here right now.
Well, I'm not miserable. I just got angst.
Well, here's the angst. We go Phillies, D-backs, Eagles collapse, Sixers, Knicks, Phillies, Mets, Eagles in a quagmire. It feels like right now. It's like we're just getting beat on with this stuff.
Here's the other thing. This represents the trifecta. If the Eagles lose to New York on Sunday,
Yeah. I got a poll going right now.
we
in the
get
chat.
skunked.
Oh, yeah.
So they better win. And I need Jalen.
Yes.
He's got to step it up,
Dude,
dude.
there's something going on in the building. Like you said in your opening, something's not making sense. The way Lane Johnson's talking about the offense being constipated. Yesterday, they asked A.J. Brown about the middle. Zach's got a quote from him where he's like, I'm hitting the slot. Sometimes I'm there. But he had a soundbite on an NBC sports thing this morning where they asked him about the middle, and he says, I'm not going to go into that. I'm not talking about that. I don't even process that question. Like, there's something up.
Yeah.
There's something going on.
It feels like a benign question.
People are hiding. Yeah, and it should not be this
Like
complicated.
the middle
an
of the
answer.
field. And here's the truth of the matter. And it's why, like, somebody commented about, the skill guys. We don't have skill guys. There's no slot receiver. That's nonsense. AJ worked the slot a lot in Tennessee. Devontae could work out of the slot. You could. That was the whole point. People talk about Jahan Dotson, right? Listen, he may not be that good, but I don't know because he never gets the ball, right? Like,
Not even a target.
and here's the thing. You could put him on the outside. When they go 11 personnel,
Yes.
you could put him on the outside and you could run Devontae in the slot.
Yes.
Which would work. Or AJ out of the slot. Like, there's things you could do. But it appears that the quarterback does not want to go over the middle of the field.
That's what we're slowly backing them into with everyone's questions and the way people are answering. You're getting back to the corner where at some point it's obviously going to be Jalen and his comfortability.
And it's a collab. It's this under center, all this stuff. Like, listen, today's game, you got to adapt. Now, there needs to be more of that. And then meanwhile, you got the head coach, running around, the hair on fire, which is like a diversion
players, taunting fans.
But that's like Travis Bickle, right?
Oh
but that's
God.
like a diversion attempt, right?
I posted a poll in chat for the listeners to kind of go along with, and I asked, like, how worried are we about this game coming up? And it's 50-50 right now. People are feeling pretty nervous, and they're feeling like we might win.
I'm not, Frazier. I'm not worried about the game. I guess I should be. I think they're going to win, but they need to look good. I'm not talking about points differential or style points, but they need to look good. Like, you need to look. It's a good defense the Giants have, so it's a good test for them. You need to execute. Barkley's got the chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, they got to look good. They have to win.
They're not a great defense, so they should be able to put up some points. They're good, but they're not a great. They're like a middle of the road D, I think.
They're
missing some people,
and their offense is not good. I mean, I don't get Nabers back, but you lose Andrew Thomas, and so the Eagles should win this game. If they don't win this game, then we got real problems.
Yeah, we
I'm
can
gonna
stop
tell you
Daniel
right now.
Jones. Come on,
That's
guys.
why it's a referendum on Sunday on this team.
We as a fan base got real problems if they lose.
No, for sure.
It's not going to go over well at all.
Especially with the Commanders are playing, you got to keep pace in this NFC East.
So the only good thing
All right.
was I don't know about you guys, but I think we're all on the same page here. The Flyers lose, but I still enjoyed watching them. Like, they jump out to a 2-0 lead, the power play looking good. I mean, I'm not worried about they still need to go get a goalie. Like, whether it's the other Russian kid that's there. I mean, Ursan looks decent. Fedotov, you and I were talking about it, JP.
Mm-hmm.
He's massive, the Russian freighter, but he can't move.
Yeah, no, and that's so the thing is like, look, he didn't look good, but this is also his second start of the season. So like, I can't sit here and say like we got to cut it off right then and there. But
that's what this year's for.
Exactly.
This year's for you give him every opportunity. You give out opportunities.
Yeah.
Like, who's six, who's swimming. You're in this mode of evaluating. I mean, that's what the truth is.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, they play exciting hockey.
Yeah.
Great hockey. I'm all about it. And, I'm giving the kid, the big Russian freighter, a little slack. Let's see like 12, 15 games from him.
That's my point. Evaluation mode.
I know that save percentage last night. It was like 81%. Holy shnikes.
And like I saw that
It was
last year
rough.
too.
Snikes.
But I mean, they only had it really was like 12 minutes of the game was a disaster. The rest of it was a competitive good game.
It's fun, man.
Yeah.
I could watch angst free.
And I'm about these hockey uniforms. I like the Kraken's uniforms last night. I like the color combo. They're on point.
No, it's fun.
NHL is just fun.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm glad we have relevance.
All right, speaking of that, Bill Matz from the All PHLY Flyers Show will join us.
Yeah.
Bill and Charlie do such a great job, so much fun. So Bill's going to join us. The brain to get us going for the weekend. And it's a big football weekend. Great games, actually, all weekend long. And a little bit later on, Mike Garafolo, NFL Network. Franny, our film man, Franny, will join us later on. TV Todd, all kinds of things. Wow. Boys, take it away.
Don't pull your hair out. I mean, if you do, or you're thinning out, or you don't want to be thin hair, wearing hats, worrying about how the wind blows. I've been there, and I waited too long. Don't be like me. Go check out our friends over at Glatt Hair Restoration by Morgenstern Medical, established by the late Dr. Paul Glatt. It's now part of the Morgenstern Center under the direction of renowned plastic surgeon Ken Morgenstern. He's a nationally recognized specialist and among the few surgeons in the country who's trained in oculofacial plastic surgery. Doctors Glatt and Morgenstern, they had a remarkable bond that spanned many years. They worked on, they collaborated on some critical research and worked in the operating room together. So what makes this Glatt Hair Restoration by Morgenstern Medical better than the rest? Same peerless approach to care, the same expert team, and the same unmatched Glatt system. It's under the direction of a highly respected plastic surgeon. Each member of this team is trained and brings over 30 years of industry experience, and hair restoration is all they do. No Botox, nothing like that, just hair restoration. And Glatt Hair, they can help you in all stages of hair loss with leading-edge treatments for prevention and restoration, including laser light therapy and non-invasive TED treatments. Each patient receives a complimentary one-on-one consultant to pinpoint the best course of treatment for them, and you get a caring patient advocate that works with you from the first phone call to the last follow-up visit. Glatt Hair isn't just about restoration, it's about innovation, and their breakthrough treatments really do dramatically change lives. Change your hair, change your life. Bald is now optional if you want to improve how you look and how you feel about yourself. Glatt Hair has the right treatment for you. Regain your confidence. Visit GlattHairMCTR.com or call 610-980-4000 to get started.
Love it, VG. All right, say it with me, ladies and gentlemen. We are finally at the weekend. And if you don't got plans, and especially if you're a diehard, listen up. We got the plans here for you. Tomorrow, October 19th, it's the National Thoroughbred League, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be live at Parks Racing right there in Bensalem. And has a lineup with 5 National Thoroughbred League races and Philadelphia's biggest day of racing outside of the Pennsylvania Derby. The National Thoroughbred League Philadelphia Cup will be hosted by none other than Sixers legend himself, Dr. J. That's right, Julius Erving will be there. He's Philadelphia Stallions co-owner. I love that. Oh. But also, not just Dr. J. We got B. West going out there. You got Seth Joyner, Freddie Mitchell. We got the Eagles covered there as well. And, of course, we'll have the private beer garden with some great brews on tap. I love that for sure. The best food in Philadelphia will be offered as well. There'll be a fan fashion show. You know, the Derby fashion.
Oh, man.
There we go.
I'd love to see that as well.
Maybe.
That'd be awesome. So, what are you waiting for? And listen. If you are a diehard, you get exclusive access into this event. So that's why, as we always say, you want to make sure you're becoming a diehard because we're always giving away good stuff like this. So doors will be open at noon. Races will start at 2:30 p.m. And, of course, we are partnering with the National Thoroughbred League. So all you got to do if you are a diehard, just show your email subscription at the gates for free admission. And if you would like some more information, you still got time. We have over 24 hours. Visit ntl.racing.com for some more information. So we will see you guys tomorrow at the National Thoroughbred League, cuz.
My man. I like it. I like it. All right, time now. Let's talk a little Flyer hockey with our man from the All PHLY Flyers show, Bill Matz. Good morning, Bill.
Yeah. Good morning, gentlemen. How are we today?
Dude, listen, I feel the Flyers, I'm saying this, are right now the only team that I have no angst. I'm enjoying their process. I love the late games. So I was in on all 4, in last night against the Kraken and, Lawton, bang, bang, right? The whole thing. The power play looks so much better. Listen, you're going to lose games, and it's the 4th game of that West Coast trip. But give us kind of your assessment after 4 games of what you're seeing.
Yeah, offensively, they've really improved from last season, and once a couple of guys just kind of get going, I think we'll start to see even better offensive numbers. I mean, Owen Tippett, he's missing the net a ton. You got to believe he's going to start hitting it at some point. 28 goals the last couple of years. But it's really Matvei Michkov, our Mad Russian, he's been as advertised. 4 points in 4 games. He has the assist on basically winning a faceoff last night. He's made the power play so much better, and he's just made them more dangerous. And when you start to see guys like Scott Lawton step up, they've had 2 goals out of a player 3 games in a row. They've just been fun to watch, like you said, in this process. While I know some people think it would be better if they just kind of went out there and did the Sixers thing, lost a whole bunch of games, not really competitive. There's teaching moments every night in high leverage games like they're playing. And I think it's going to pay off down the road. So it's absolutely been fun. Looking forward to seeing them come home, play some games that start at 7:00. That would be nice. But it's I think a decent enough road trip. The goaltending has left something to be desired. Ivan Fedotov hasn't looked great, but like you said, it's going to be a process with him. It's 2 games now he's started. Just need to see a little bit more, but definitely having fun to start this year.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the truth of the matter is this whole thing is this is a great evaluation year, right? Like this is what you see. I'll ask you this because Jet's got to stay. I love the Jet, man. He just pops. What do you think? You think he'll stay?
It really seems like John Tortorella is creating a situation where if they try to send him back, his argument is, you're taking one of my best centers away from me. He's already centering the second line. They had him last night with Travis Konechny, who, 30 goals the last 2 years, their best forward till Michkov showed up, and Farabee. So you have him with 2 of the 3 highest paid forwards. I will be surprised at this point if he gets sent back. He hasn't looked in over his head at all. He hasn't looked like he doesn't belong. I don't really see what he gains by going back and dunking on teenagers when he clearly is good enough to play in the NHL. He's got a ways to go, sure, but he's an NHL player right now, having turned 18 at the end of August. Like, this kid's basically a senior. He's basically a senior in high school, and he's hanging in the NHL. He played 5 minutes straight up against McDavid the other night, and again, didn't look out of place against the best player in the world. I can't see how they can send him back.
Yeah, I'm with you, and that's the thing. He doesn't look overwhelmed. Like that's the thing that pops, man. First of all, he pops because of his speed and everything else, but he looks. There's not a lot of mistakes, right? He had the one mistake, I guess it was in the first or second game, but that's it. Like he looks good, man. There's so much fun to kind of watch right now, and you brought up. I mean, obviously, Michkov. We're talking about. He makes them so dangerous. Like the power play is night and day from last year.
The power play was, they've been last place 3 years in a row coming into this year. Last year at 12.2%. That's almost more impressive than a good power play. Scoring 12% of the time when you have one extra guy is hard to do. And suddenly Michkov shows up and they're functional. They're good. They're around 25%, which is what you need to be in the league today. He has been he's just been excellent. I'm really looking forward to see him getting even more comfortable in the league. He just made a play last night where goes into a corner. He's kind of by himself in the offensive zone, and he tries to make a little spin move and just buy himself time. And the Kraken defender just goes, no, and throws him into the boards. Once he realized, that's not going to fly here, he's going to be even more dangerous. It's a learning process for him as well, but he's already so good.
Yeah, no, he's ridiculous, man. It's amazing the skill that he has with his stick. Wow, man, he's amazing. All right, let's go forwards. Give me a couple guys that you're having an eye on that you like so far.
So far, I have really liked what I've seen out of Tyson Forster. 20 goals as a rookie last year. He scored in the opener. It took him 15 games to get on the board last year. He's just a really good two-way player. His defensive metrics last year were awesome. They've bounced him around the lineup a little bit, just trying to find the right combinations. So much of this early season is just seeing who fits where. And once he finds chemistry, I think he's really going to take off. And like I said, Owen Tippett, he's been all over the ice. He's making plays. He's getting chances. Just can't seem to bury them. I feel like a couple of big games in a row are on tap for Tippett. Shot.
Like, listen, he's a player. He's an offensive player. I like Tippett a lot.
Now, shooters shoot. He's going to get hot and have some big games coming up soon.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, blue line. Assess the defenseman.
The defenseman, I think it's been rough. It's been rough so far. Defensive
Mistakes.
zone coverage hasn't been great. Nick Sealer has been out to start the season. He blocked a pass in a preseason game and suddenly just having numbness. I think when he gets back, you'll just have a little bit more consistency. Guys will be able to find chemistry with their partners better. And he's a steadying force back there on the penalty kill and at 5-on-5. He's very tough. They're going to play him with Jamie Drysdale. I think that will open him up to make more plays. But it hasn't been great on defense. And they were so good, so tight last year. That's something that really needs to happen, especially if you're going to get goaltending like they're getting from Fedotov. They have to keep him cleaner.
Yeah, I'm with you. I guess I need a little bit more from Cam York.
Yeah, he's got a couple of goals. He's looked good in terms of providing more offense. That's something they've needed. But he was so good defensively, especially in the second half last year, defending the rush, killing plays. It hasn't quite been there. Neither him nor Sanheim have played their best game yet. Maybe they're saving it for Saturday for the opener.
Yeah. What about Ersan?
Erson's been good. I've really liked what I've seen out of him. He had a strong preseason. So much of this offseason was, all right, we know what happened last year. He looked good, and then the Carter Hart got taken away from the team, and suddenly he had to play every single night and really wore down. And we just want to see him on regular rest, see what will happen if he has a normal schedule. And he's been damn good so far. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing if he can take this role as the number one, really just make himself indispensable to this team, because he's been great so far.
Hey, Bill, with the defensive struggles, I was high just because the way he plays, he's big Hunter McDonald. Do you see a Bonk or a McDonald coming up to try and bolster the defensive unit?
I would be surprised. Hunter McDonald, I think, had a real chance in the preseason and just didn't do a ton to really stand out, apart from the rest of the NHL guys or bubble NHL guys. Emil Andre went on this trip. I was kind of expecting him to get in there with Nick Sealer hurt, at least for a game or two, and they chose to go with Eric Johnson. Veteran, he's close to 1,000 games. I think they really want to get him there, but I don't know if help is on the way for this group. I think it's just kind of, other than Nick Sealer, who we hope gets healthy at some point in the very near future, I think it's going to be, you guys are the 6 NHLers. You're the ones who have to figure this thing out, at least for the next month or two.
Hey, Bill, I want to talk, because you were mentioning Owen Tippett, and listen, you and I have talked a lot about Owen Tippett, and it's funny because before yesterday's game, I saw Jason Martinez's tweet about Owen Tippett, and it was interesting. He was talking about his confidence and how Owen Tippett it seems like he just doesn't know his skill set fully yet. And then watching the game, I'm like, okay, he may have been up to something. We talked about his shot before. He definitely has its skill set. But do you think maybe he just doesn't know how good he is yet?
Yeah, he's just one of those guys that you see him dominate a shift. You see him dominate a period. You see him have a 3-point game, and you go, it feels like he could do this every night. It feels like he could be a premier player, but he just has too many times where he disappears for a couple of shifts or a period or whatever it might be. This is what a rebuild is about. Guys figuring out what their potential is. I think once they kind of settle the lines and everybody knows their role a little bit better, knows where each other is going to be because they have some consistent line mates out there, we'll see a little bit more consistency. But you see some of the moves he's capable of. He's got the speed. He's got the shot. He's got the size. If he can put it together, he's a first-line player, but he just hasn't quite got there yet.
Yeah, he can't. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to jump around because Torts, he's not my favorite guy, but he seems...
Dude,
he seems
give it up. Give it up to Torts.
Can I talk? Did Jonesy, have they had a talk with him? Is he on some medical cannabis? He seems jovial. He seems relaxed this year. Have they told him to tone it down?
He's on that.
I like this Torts.
He's on that Michkov kush, man.
Yeah, everyone has some preconceived notions about John Tortorella. I think he really likes coaching young players. I think he is very, very excited about having a Michkov, about having Jet Luchenko here, about having Jamie Drysdale, and guys who, when they make mistakes, it's not like, I don't know what I can do with you because you're 27 years old. It's, you are actually giving me an opportunity to teach you now. I think he really enjoys this process more than he did the last couple of seasons where, all right, we have some guys who have some potential, but really most of them are fully cooked already.
Yeah, exactly. There was no talent, right? Let's be real. Now you finally got some talent. You finally got a way. And as a coach, there's nothing worse than coaching no talent, right? So now you got something. So, yeah, give it up for Torts. I'm glad you did it, BG. Because I love Torts. All right, Billy, what's on tap for you guys today?
Today, we are off. It's a travel day for the team. But tomorrow is the home opener. We have pre and post game, so we're going to be here with you. Those pre-game starts at 6:30 before the 7 o'clock puck drop. Then it's the home opener, and then post game. Hopefully, we're celebrating a win. JP,
Absolutely, brother. And listen, I know Charlie's ready to come back home as well.
He loves going on these trips, but he definitely gets a little homesick, I think, after a 4-game West Coast trip to start.
God, yeah.
Stop.
Vancouver,
Poor Charlie's in Vancouver, Seattle. Give me a break. I still love it. I did that job, and it's a great job. You stay in hotels, you eat Marriott burgers, all right? And then you go out to dinner at night. Like, stop. It's a great day. You're watching hockey, writing and batting with the team. It's a gift. Oh, Billy, you're the man, buddy. Taste the Cake Dom says hello. Everybody loves you. You're the man, pal.
Thanks for having me. Anytime, boys.
You're the best, buddy. There he is, Billy Matz. Fantastic.
Linda in the chat. Seeing Torts smiling is kind of off-putting.
You know what's funny she says that? Because I was looking at him, right? And I don't know, like when someone, right? But when someone is so stern all the time and they loosen up, it becomes that much more endearing.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm looking. I'm like, all right, this is a different guy, man.
Yeah.
I like this guy.
Yeah, he's terrific. All right, this portion of the program brought to you by the Bet Park Sportsbook and online casino app. Of course, the ambassador of the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app, a man who knows who Webster Slaughter is, the brain.
Brain. Red, the brain finder.
What is it, brain?
I believe he's number 84. I think Webster Slaughter was number 84 on top of it, right?
Kosar to Slaughter. First down.
I remember it well. Those were the days, man. Those were the days.
CBS.
I
They
love
were
that
on
era.
CBS. No, NBC back then. It was NBC.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. By the way, I love the Nebraska hoodie.
Yeah.
Strong one.
I unboxed that one. Thanks
I
to
like it.
Coach Rule. We got a big one tomorrow. I like him against Indiana.
Yeah, again, we talked about the other day. I think they're very live. It's still sitting at 6.5. Just want it to go that extra half point. But I think they can. I couldn't agree with you more. I think they can win the game outright. But I'd love to just get that extra half point just for peace of mind. But I got to tell you, last night's game, Anthony. You want to talk about? We talk about live betting, which Parks has. Did you watch any of the game last night? The football game?
I did. I saw it. Yeah, and it was clear from the beginning that the Saints were decimated by injuries. They had no chance, and the Broncos defense controlled the game. You're right on. Spot on.
This is what I always say. Again, these pre-flop games, listen, I do my best. We all do our best, but they're never easy. But when you're watching a game like last night, those are the games that I really do my best on. And I think everyone viewing you could do your best on, because it's not that I'm some brain surgeon. You just saw that, like Anthony said, you're watching that game. Rattler had no chance to do anything in that game. Nix was effective. Javonte Williams was running really hard. They were giving huge holes in the opening for him. It was just obvious this was going to land 30-3, 30-6. It was something. It was, and you were able to bet that early. They kept favoring every single time Denver scored. They were favoring. They were favoring New Orleans. So when they were up 13, the line was like 10.5 for Denver. So I was always taking points in a situation where I had the far better of it, taking points. And there was no guarantee that New Orleans was even going to score.
Yeah, no,
Anyway,
that was an incredible. That's right. Forgive me because you're a great sportsman, so you'll appreciate this. I'm going back and forth with our Devon Gibbons from all PHLY Sixers, because I'm out of my mind this morning. After the draft, we all said it, and you and I probably said it, and I just don't remember, and I'm sure you felt it, that Dalton Connect was the right pick for the Sixers.
It was
the
easy.
obvious pick.
Yep.
It was the obvious pick.
Like, nothing against McCain, nice kid.
It was the obvious pick.
Maybe he becomes a player.
It was the obvious pick.
Let me go. I got this kid who's 6'9" wing, who could shoot the ball, who was double to triple to Tennessee, right? Or I got this kid who's got ability, played at Duke, right? Undersized 2 guard. Now, I already have Tyrese Maxey, right? So I have an undersized 2 in the future when he does get run. He can't play with my best player. So who am I taking? Like, come on, Eel.
Listen, did you ever, Anthony? Did you ever ask Daryl that? I'm curious, or did because
we think blah 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 GM talk. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Listen,
I digress.
For the record, I agree with you. The only thing I will say is, I think it's only fair, and I think you would agree. You got to let it play out, even though it may look a certain way. You got to
play out. I know I was right. It was obvious.
He hit 8 3-pointers last night, Brad.
It was obvious.
3-pointers.
I mean, stop. I love the Eel, and I have that kind of listen. I'm honest with him. Like, I think he does a great job. The whole thing. He missed this. This was a mistake.
I'm not letting it play out.
No, I'm not letting it. I know I'm right. I don't care.
Connect regret.
Yeah, I got Connect regret. That's pretty good.
Look at that.
All right, let's go. We have a ton. The baseball last night. How about that? Cleveland was
crazy.
Big Christmas. Ow!
You were talking about him.
God.
You mentioned him yesterday. You mentioned him. Or was it 2 days? You said him. You mentioned. You go. I like him. He's a guy who can hit that big home run. You were like Nostradamus.
I love that. You know why? Because, we're losers and geeks. And so the fantasy baseball piece of it, I'm a box score nerd, and he's a guy that he hit a couple against the Phillies. We saw him hit a couple against the Phillies. Yeah. He's a big bopper. But, man.
He looked like Pedro Serrano up there, right?
Yes. That was cool, man. That was a great moment.
First of all, you talk about a no doubt about it home run. I mean, that was like
upper deck.
It was look. I was actually watching that, and I just like, oh my god, this was like just such a shot.
Yeah,
and it was crazy. And look, what a great look. Cleveland deserves. I mean, Cleveland hasn't won a World Series.
How about won a World Series? Like, are you kidding me?
This is crazy.
This is crazy. This guy was unhittable. This is crazy. The judge, 2 strikes, you give him that, and then stand. My God.
Anthony, it's crazy. It's funny. You have a guy, and, people who are watching, again, this guy, I don't think you understand how unhittable this guy's been this year. He's had one of the probably 5 or 6 best relieving years in the history of the sport. Dennis Eckersley, Eric Gagne come to mind. But this guy's right up there in the year he had. I mean, he was untouchable. The movie Untouchables could be named about the 2024 Emmanuel Clase season. And the fact in this postseason, he gives up a 3-run shot. Was it Torkelson or who was it from the Tigers who hit it? Kurt Carpenter or Torkelson. One of the guys hit it. And then you see him give up another 2. I mean, this is like, again, it's like they say the NBA is a make or miss league. Well, in Major League Baseball, either you get it done or you don't. Man, this is just crazy. And then the Yankees. It's funny. I've never trusted Luke Weaver. I know he's had a good year for them, but I'm not surprised. To me, that's the Yankees' Achilles heel. Is their bullpen I don't fully trust, but what an exciting game. And on an other side note, great to see the Mets lose.
Yeah. All right, listen, this is an incredible sports weekend.
Amazing.
This could be the greatest sports weekend in a long time, all right? Because I don't care if you like college football, you need to watch the 2 games on Saturday.
I've been telling
Georgia and Texas. I know you have. You are Mr. College Football. Alabama, Tennessee. Wow. I mean, Georgia, Texas is going to be incredible. It's funny. My man Boo said I'm on the other side of you in the brain because we like Texas.
I like Texas. I do. But Anthony, it's funny. What I actually agree with you on, more so even than liking Texas, I think I like Texas's team total over for the reasons we said. I don't have to worry about if Georgia points at 35 points, which with the quarterback they have, I can't eliminate that. But Texas, the way they're playing offensively, and again, I just don't trust Georgia's defense.
Nah.
Like when I look at the 4 units, the both teams' offenses, both teams' defense, the unit I trust by far and away the least is that Georgia defense, which is crazy to say because under Coach Smart, they've just been so good defensively for so many years in a row. And it's like weird to see a bad Georgia defense. But man, I think this defense is kind of closer to bad. And I think Texas will score that first digit. It'll be at least a 3. That's my favorite way to attack this game. You said it 2 days ago on the show. And I think that's my favorite bet in this game. I think Texas scores at least in the mid-30s and certainly at least 31. I will be surprised if Georgia's defense, who have not been able to hold – Mississippi State scored 31 points against them.
Yes.
Mississippi State.
Yes.
I mean, Alabama put up, 45, 48 against them, whatever it was. This is now becoming like, okay, I don't think this is, let's say Bill Parcells, this is who you are, your record.
Right.
This is kind of who their defense is. And
I'm with you.
For me, that's my favorite, play in this game.
All right. Anything else before we get to NFL that you like?
I did bet tonight. Yeah, I did bet tonight, Anthony. BYU against. I laid. I think it's 9.5 right now, Anthony, on the Park site. They're playing Oklahoma State. Now, yeah. Now it's funny because BYU. I think the team that's been the most surprising team potentially this year is BYU. They've been incredible. 6-0 against the number. Not only 6-0 against the number, Anthony. 6-0 against the number, covering the games by an average of 17 points a game. Now, Oklahoma State is off a bye week, but they, to me, have been terribly disappointing. Look, you can fight BYU, but to me, again, they've just been really consistent. I just think that they will win this. I thought this line should have been closer to like 12. I did lay 9.5, and you can get that right now on the Park site. I think it's worth a bet.
Hey, let me ask you real quick. Then Purdue is getting 28.5. All right, Oregon's coming off of that win last week with like a huge emotional outlay. Then you got to travel, and this is Purdue Super Bowl. It's going to be Friday night. The whole camp is going to be out there. Just as watch them keep it close. I mean, 28.5. I know they stink, but 28.5 is a lot after that kind of victory.
It's funny from a power rating standpoint. I actually slightly had Oregon favored, but from a situational spot standpoint, from what you just said, Anthony, the only way I can look is Purdue. Look, Ryan Brown threw for like 300 yards and had over 100 yards rushing last week. I mean, a crazy, crazy game for them. To me, again, the only way I can look for the reasons you said, the travel, the emotion, every single thing about that game, the only way I could look, and now that's over 28, you said, is the Purdue side. Not a game I personally bet because I just don't think they're very good. But that's, to me, it's an easy side. Easy side. By the way, what did you guys think, the three of you, on Lanning admitting what he did with the 12 men, and then the NCAA changing the rule? Just curious what your quick. Did you read about that?
Yeah, I thought that was interesting that they're going to change. They're changing the way the clock runs off now, or giving you choice. It's wild.
These are. This is my favorite. I love finding inefficiencies. That's like my favorite thing, and I love the fact that Coach found this inefficiency that he's like, all right, 10 seconds left. He should have put 15 men on the field. Forget 12. Give me 15 men on the field. But the fact that he admitted it was the only thing I wouldn't have done. I just would have kept my mouth shut and done it again until they stopped it. But anyway, I love when coaches find stuff like that. To me, that's my favorite thing.
And listen, they needed to make that change. I mean, you had to do it right away.
Oh, 100%. It was a loophole.
So do you remember when that thing happened, when something similar happened in the NFL?
Was that when the guys were acting like they're injured
Mike
during
Vrabel?
Kelly? No.
Was it Mike Vrabel?
It happened in Philadelphia.
Really?
Yes. And it happened in the late 80s.
You have me so curious now because I remember that era like better than anything.
So there was a play where you remember what Randall Cunningham used to do? How Randall could punt?
Mm-hmm.
right?
The drop.
Oh, he was the best punter in the league.
Right. But they had Randall. This was a brilliant move. They had Randall act like he was going to punt, but throw it high in the air like it was a punt. Because when that happens, it's automatic pass interference.
Oh.
Because you're blocking downfield.
That's brilliant.
It was one of the most genius plays ever.
Who came up with that?
Buddy
Oh
Ryan.
my God, that's
way.
incredible.
Yes.
That is incredible. I gotta
Awesome.
YouTube that, man. That's
Because
insane.
You're throwing the ball up in the air, and like you think everybody thinks it's the punt, and you do. And so the minute you touch a receiver, it's a
that is legit genius.
Yeah, it is.
That is genius.
Because when we were
Wow.
kids, what did you do when you kicked off?
Oh, yeah. Just someone
You
heaved it.
You heaved as far as you could, right?
Yeah,
That's what you did.
that's a great one.
Hey,
Yeah.
Brain, you got any? Nevada feels like a live dog to me tonight. Any vibe on that one?
I like Nevada. Nevada. It's funny. I actually do. I did bet Nevada as well. I think the line was 5.
It's
If
down
I'm
to
not
like
mistaken, right now.
2.5 on some books, 3.
Yeah, and yeah, I actually did make a bet on Nevada. So there you go, VJ. Yeah, I do actually have a bet on Nevada. Look, they've been tough at home. Short week for Fresno. And I also do. I didn't bet it, but I do lean over. But I did not actually bet it. But I actually did. My numbers show a little bit of edge going to the over in this game. But I actually did bet Nevada.
All right, one more quick one. Temple goes from a pick'em to a -3. Is Temple worth a play this weekend?
No, listen. By the way, Temple's been that game against UConn. I was going back like a week. I was rooting for Temple so hard. I don't know why. I just really was. I always root for the local teams. But Temple's actually been, they've played a lot friskier than I was expecting. Like that was, I thought the line in this game should actually be closer to maybe Temple by 1. Tulsa's obviously no great shakes, but man, that was such a tough beat for Temple. I actually thought he scored. Did you see it, VG, on the play before when he was running on the second down run, or was it the third down run? I thought he scored.
I thought he scored.
I don't
too.
even know if he.
I
really thought he was in.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? I almost thought it was good for Temple that he didn't. Because I'm like, all right, they'll just do his QB sneak. Why do these teams do the shotgun play? Why do you do shotgun from the half-yard line, the quarter inch arm? Why do you do that?
I don't get it. That's another thing so stupid. Like, you get blown
gives the
up.
defense a chance to
It's easy
stop
get
you.
blown up. And you lose 3 yards.
Easy.
I see it in the NFL. I see it too. These freaking guys overthinking stuff. Stop.
Here's what you need to do, guys. This is
We got, because we're up against it. I got to get you Sunday. Brad, Sunday's unbelievable.
best Sunday of the year.
Games, Lions, Vikings, Niners, Chiefs, Steelers, Jets, Devontae Adams there. Russell Wilson's going to start for the Steelers. Eagles, Giants. I mean, there's games. What's it called games? Great Atlanta, Baltimore.
That's another great one. Yeah,
Games.
they're all great. Yeah, it's the Anthony. Again, I actually think it is the best NFL week of the entire season. What we've seen so far. Look, I'll tell you the games I like real quick, Anthony. Green Bay. You could buy it down to 2.5 on Parks. I laid 2.5, but you could lay 2.5 lanes
They're
from
with
juice.
you.
I really like them against the Texans.
Pack over the Texans. You're
Yes.
spot on.
We win this game, I think, by double digits. I think Green Bay is really good, by the way.
Yeah,
If you were looking for a long shot Super Bowl bet, I have them ranked as my second best team in the NFC after Detroit. Really like Green Bay.
Agreed.
The Eagles game, guys, Anthony, we talked about it just the other day. With 3, it was a gift. I'm looking right now, it's 3.5. Yeah, 3 was that was the number. I still, even at 3.5, lean Philadelphia, but man, I just wish it was sitting at 3, not 3.5. I like the Seattle getting 3 against Atlanta. I think it's at least a 50-50 game, and I actually think Seattle wins it, Anthony. I really do. We talked about Anthony. I love the 49ers against Kansas City. I've been waiting to pick against the Chiefs. This, to me, is the spot to do it. I think the 49ers win this game by margin.
I was telling these guys, and I'm an Andy Smags, of course. The Niners, we didn't even talk about it before the show. I said this spot is a Niners all the way, and a Niners by margin.
Yeah, Niners by margin, I agree. And Anthony, you talked about it. I do think that Carolina, if you're looking for a pizza bet in the team that everyone's, they have no chance. I think Carolina has a chance. I'm looking right now, they're getting plus on the Park site. It's down at, what's funny, it was getting 3-something. Now it's down to plus 280. Someone must have been listening, Anthony, to you when you said you thought they could win that game because the line's actually gone a bit down. But I actually do think getting 8 points, I think Carolina has a real chance. Or I don't. Washington's defense stinks. I think it can be a competitive game.
I'm with you. Brain, great stuff as always, buddy. We appreciate it.
Looking forward to seeing you guys Monday. Be good, guys. Good luck,
what a
everyone.
Pleasure. Enjoy the weekend. What a weekend of football.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll be talking about this NFL weekend with the great Mike Garafolo NFL Network coming up in just a moment. But first, let me tell you about the Bet Park Sportsbook and Online Casino. So, Brain gave you his selections. I love that Texas over team total. I do think this is a Niners spot. I told him the other night I love Carolina against Washington. I think Carolina moved the ball with Andy Dalton. Lots of stuff to do. You can bet it all on the Bet Park Sportsbook Online Casino app. That's right. And this weekend's big because the NBA begins, and at $25 on the Sixers to win it all brings back $200. And if they had Dalton connect, it would be even better.
This guy.
Oh, my God. He's my new Paul Pierce.
Man.
Mo Pete.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Listen, Birds are a 3.5-point favorite at MetLife Stadium against Big Blue. The total 43.5. It's the Saquon game. All right? So there's you could bet Saquon over yardage, right? Over rushing yards, over total yardage. It's so much fun. You got it all there, right? New users download the BetParks online casino app and sportsbook right now. You get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down the first 24 hours. So whether your team scores or not, there's always another way to win on the BetParks online sportsbook and casino. BetParks.com for all the details. You got to be 21. You got to be in PA, New Jersey, Ohio, Michigan, Maryland. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right. Well, because it's the good news, I'm unfortunately the bearer of bad news because, listen, I know we're all going to be enjoying some baseball, some football this weekend. And a lot, like Cuz said, a lot of good sports going on. But, gentlemen, we cannot forget about those floors. Yes, those floors are old. They're decrepit. We need to change them. And we're only going to change them with our friends over at Empire Today. All right? And with Empire Today, you get to shop at home convenience, the right products for your needs. They have quick and professional installation, so you can just sit back, relax, have a nice maybe glass of lemonade in your hand, and allow Empire Today to do their thing. All right? And, of course, listen, the biggest part about Empire Today is that they're only going to put high-quality flooring in your home the same way they would do for their own home. So, of course, other companies are going to be doing the same exact things and telling you the same exact things, but they're going to put low-quality stuff because their thing is they're going to try to save you some money. No. Listen, with floors, you cannot go cheap on that, all right? You need something that's going to last you a long time. So, Empire Today, they're only going to give you the best quality in your home, guaranteed, all right? And so what you got to do right now, do not wait to change those floors. Do it right now. Schedule your free in-home estimate today, and our listeners right now can receive up to a $350 off discount. Come on, who's doing that, all right? So use the promo code PHLY. Keep in mind, restrictions do apply. See Empire Today/PHLY for more. So don't wait anymore. Check out Empire
Today.
Today is right. All right, this portion of the program brought to you by Rite Aid, your neighborhood pharmacy. Rite Aid for flu shots and meds and last-minute goods. RiteAid.com. All right, joining us from the NFL Network hometown hero. We love him. He's the best. I know he's all flyered up over Michkov. He's my main man, Mike Garafolo. Mikey!
Yeah. We getting a home game sometime soon?
What's that, buddy?
Are we getting a home game sometime soon? What do you think?
I know. How about it? Saturday, pal.
Yeah,
Saturday.
Nice job, NHL. Open up on the West Coast. That's great.
What do you think of it? You're a big flyer guy. You're a big flyer guy. How about we finally got a guy with skill?
Yes. Great. Awesome. You know, we've had guys with skill before.
Not like
I want to see the complete product.
What mucker and grunt?
I'm
Ron
not that
Sutter?
excited. I'm not that excited yet. I'm not that excited.
Wow.
I don't know.
Wow. Come on, bro.
I can take it. I'm not Nick Sirianni. I can take it.
So let's begin there. What's the talk in the league over our boy? I mean,
Yeah.
he comes out looking like Travis Bickle, right? And he gets into with fans. He almost got flagged, by the way. He with the officials. That was getting ugly. He's got to tone that down. They've been told 100 times. He's been told 100 times about that. But let's talk about it. What's the word around the league with him?
I don't think anybody around the league knows what it's like to coach or to play in Philly. Like, I don't. And you know how he is, and you know how deep it runs. And I think he's tired of. Now listen, that's the first thing he actually walked back. Like the thing in Kansas City where he went at the fans, the one in Indianapolis, where he's gone at opposing fans. Like he's never ever walked it back. This is the first time he's ever been like, went a little too far, but whatever. I'm paraphrasing, but so I think he understands. I think he understands he's always going to be in the moment. The emotion's going to get the better of him, no doubt. And you know what? That's what's gotten him to where he is right now. So I don't think it's a huge deal. I still think the most important thing for him is does the team win or lose, right? I still think you come out, you put together a couple of wins here. That stuff's forgotten. Let's go back to
how about this though? How about they actually score in the first quarter?
I don't know. I mean, this offense came out looking like one thing against Green Bay, and I don't know that we've seen it, fully since then. Against and they've had the injuries. I get that, right? Like, but against Atlanta, I was like, okay, they're going to be able to survive without AJ, and AJ. I don't know. It just doesn't look like a complete product to me. And this would be the week to have a Saquon week 1 type performance against his former team.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. The Saquon Bowl. First of all, what's nobody knows the Giants like you do. What's the word up? Like, we always talk about the Hard Knocks piece where, Mara is going, anybody but the Eagles type of thing.
Yeah.
And, what's been the word up there, especially this week? It's a big deal.
I mean, they're going to point to the fact that, they're now, if the Eagles were this team for the longest time, like you can find running backs for a lot less elsewhere. And the Giants are now that team, right? Like Devin Singletary.
Yeah.
Crazy what?
No, I said Tracy.
Oh, Tracy. Yeah, right. Exactly. You got Tracy. It's like you can plug guys in. Why not use your resources at other positions? That's kind of the way they are right now, and they're looking at it that way. Like, why would we have spent $12 million for the position where we've got 2 guys that are performing similarly? I mean, Devin Singletary, even wearing the 26, at times it's like, oh, okay, it sort of looks like Saquon. Now he doesn't have that extra little bit, but as a general manager, you sit there and you go, is that extra little bit worth X amount, right? Is it worth the next, I don't know what Singletary's at, like a couple million this year. Is it worth another 9 or something like that? Right now, the Giants are saying no. Right now, the Eagles are saying yes. So that's kind of the way they look at it. I think he's going to get a rude welcome from the Giants fans. I do. I think that they, as
I'm
I've
surprised. Because everybody knows the narrative that he wasn't offered a contract.
Right. But they also know that he was offered one the year before and the year before that, right? And that's kind of what the Giants have sold and made clear. And more fans are siding with the team and the general manager than maybe I would have expected when this first went down. But the pulse of the Giant fan is, you should have taken your money when we offered the money. It's incredible to me.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
How do you see this matchup? Because a couple of things. One, both teams without their left tackles. Andrew Thomas is their best player. Other than Malik Nabers. I mean, he's ridiculous. The Eagles, Mayollada is very important, but they have a deep line that could withstand a loss like Mayollada. How do you kind of see this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, the Giants, that's a killer for their offensive line. Their offensive line's been good. I don't know that it's been great. It's just the bar has been so low around here the last couple of years that you start to get a decent performance from that line put together, and all of a sudden everybody thinks everything's cured. So that's a killer. I mean, that is just a brutal loss for the Giants that they really can't afford. And I think it's going to affect them greatly. So, I like the Eagles coming in on this game right here. The Giants still have a lot of work to be done to this roster. Kayvon Thibodeau going down was a huge loss for them as well, because their idea was, well, if we've got 2 edge rushers that are able to get after it, that's going to, cover up a lot of things and allow us to do some things in the back end. You take away Thibodeau now and you're down to just Burns. He's been playing well, but it's just not the same.
Yeah, well, Dexter Lawrence is he's a beast.
Yeah.
Curious, Neighbors definitely playing, right?
Yeah, he's cleared by the concussion protocol or concussion independent neurologist yesterday. So he's out of the protocol. He's got a groin thing that they added that apparently was something that he was feeling after practice yesterday. So they added the designation afterward, but should be fine.
All right. Let's go around the league a little bit, because there's an amazing week of movements, right? First, obviously, Devontae Adams and the Jets. I mean, you cover that team as well. You cover the whole league, but you know that team well too. I mean, what a crazy couple weeks it's been for the Jets. Fire Saleh, and then here's Devontae coming in. He's going to play Sunday night against Pittsburgh. What's that whole scene looking like?
Yeah, I don't know what it really cures, to be honest with you. Does it make them better? Yes. Why they went out and gave up a 3, possibly a 2 for him, when let's say you're playing this out for a couple of years here. At this point, you got to go. I mean, they're 2-4, so they got to go 7-4 the rest of the way just to get above 500, and that doesn't guarantee you a playoff spot. And so I don't know that I look at that. Now, to me, I always looked at this team, even before the Devontae trade, I thought they were going to be the wild card team that can go on the road and win a couple of games, and maybe Rodgers locks in, and that's not the team that you want to see in the playoffs. I still think they could be that team potentially. I just don't know what the Devontae thing really does for them overall, how much better it makes them, because they need help in other. I mean, they're getting gashed. Their defensive line, which is supposed to be their defensive front, is supposed to be their strength, has been getting absolutely gashed. And you saw the way Buffalo was able to run against them. So it's like that. Devontae Adams can't help your run defense. From a head coaching perspective, they fire Saleh. They bring in Ulbrich. I like Ulbrich. I thought he had chances of being a head coach overall, but this is such a tough spot to be thrown into.
Yeah.
Can you make yourself a playoff team? And you're going to have to beat Andy Reid, Zach Taylor, Mike Tomlin. I mean, look at these coaches that are in the AFC. If you do the tail of the tape, can you give a guy in his first year as an interim who got the job midway through the edge over some of these coaches? They're going to have to.
How about McDermott, his own division?
McDermott, I forgot about him. I mean, the head coaches in the AFC are just so experienced and so good. That's the part that I've got trouble seeing. And I guess in Woody Johnson's mind, if they get in the playoffs and they win a game and they advance, like that to him is but we always talked about this team like Super Bowl or bust. When you made that Aaron Rodgers Super Bowl or bust. So listen, I give Woody Johnson a little bit of credit for making the move here. We'll see about Hassan Reddick. That's another piece of this that we haven't even gotten to, which could help their team. I don't know. I don't know how that's going. My hunch is that ends up with Rosenhaus eventually convincing him, like, take the best 1-year deal you can get from the Jets. They've got something on the table. It'll cover the fines. Get in here, play, and then we'll figure it out from there. That's my best guess, which would be good for the Jets.
All right, the other big receiver on the move, Amari Cooper. I love with the Bills. I love this move.
Yeah.
I think it's a perfect move for them. And you're going to get Cook back. Ray Davis, I love that kid from Kentucky, was terrific the other night. Cooper just gives them that dimension they were missing.
Yeah, was Ray Davis at Temple at one point? Is that right?
Yes.
I think he was at Temple at one point.
Yeah.
He's had quite the journey, and I think a lot more people are going to learn about his story as we move along here. The Cooper move, now financially, it was the easiest move. I mean, because the Browns had given him his salary in a signing bonus back in the spring. So it's going to cost them like $800,000, which allowed them, the Browns to get a better compensation because he was cheaper financially. So, and Brandon Beane Keon Coleman comes in as a rookie. He throws a bunch of veterans, Curtis Samuel, Mac Hollins, the former Eagle, KJ Hamler, like all these veterans who never really were high volume guys elsewhere, brings them in and says, well, let's see what sticks here. And if we have to, we'll make a move down the line. So this was the move down the line. He knew he needed to do it. What I didn't like about this team is when they fell behind the last couple of weeks before the Jet game, when they've fallen behind, they didn't have that guy that like can help you get out of that hole.
Yes.
Because those guys aren't those guys. Like if you're playing from ahead and you've got those guys that I'm talking about, you're fine. But you need to be able to dig out of a 2-touchdown hole. You need to be able to do that as you get into the season, as you get into the postseason. So he knew he needed this guy. I think it's a great fit, and Cooper's happy to be leaving that Browns debacle right now.
Is there? There's no way Max leaves the Raiders. I know he said that I'm not here to rebuild. Detroit, obviously, we talk about that awful injury that leaves you a gaping hole on that side of the edge.
Yeah.
Is there anything there?
Well, the owner doesn't want to do it. The general manager doesn't want to do it. The head coach definitely doesn't want to do it. Antonio Pierce and Max Crosby have had a good relationship.
Yeah.
Which Pierce had a good relationship with Adams as well. It's just, you get to that point in your career and you're like, I can't, this roster needs so much work. Like, are we even next year going to be a playoff team, right? Like there's that much work that needs to be done there. And it can happen quickly. The Texans, you get CJ Stroud and all of a sudden you're a playoff team your first year, and going into your second year, you're expected to take another step and you can add pieces around it. But Max has got only so much time left. So I understand where he's coming from. So I think what he was saying was ideally he'd like to be a Raider. But if it's going to be a slow rebuild, guys, I can't wait around for that. If it's going to be a potentially quick rebuild, and this team could be bad enough that they're drafting in the top 2 or 3, and you got the Quinn Ewers of the world and these other quarterbacks that are coming out in the draft, all of a sudden things can turn around quickly. So I think that's more along the lines of what he wanted. Like, I'll let them know before the trade deadline. If this is not going to be something where even in 25 we see we're competitive, then get me out of here now. I think that's what the message was.
Do you see the Eagles doing anything? Like off the edge?
The trade deadline?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, always something to be done. Now, I didn't realize this till Ian reported this, our colleague Ian Rappaport, that you can't trade a guy back in the same year.
Yeah, the Reddick.
You can't trade Hassan Reddick back, which was interesting. There's a lot of factors at play. I got another question regarding that whole thing that I got to get an answer to before I present it. But yeah, I mean, there's just not a lot out there, honestly, and I know everybody's talking, Myles Garrett. I mean, I don't know. If you're Cleveland, what do you? He was the defensive player of the year by far last year. Like, he was so good.
He single-handedly, without a sack, kept that game close last week.
Yeah, he is, and that's a lot of what he did last year, because the numbers weren't eye-popping. It was just everybody. He's
a great player.
Yeah, he's top 5 in the league right now, including all quarterbacks.
All right, what a great week! This is an epic weekend of matchups. So Lions and Vikings is incredible. I'll tell you one thing. Flores, does he get a job? Because he's a ridiculously talented defensive coordinator. I know it went down, but look at that Minnesota defense. They're good. I'm anxious to see that matchup of the Lions offense against this Vikings defense, and can they run on them?
Well, does he get a job? He's been a great defensive coordinator. He was a good head coach too, but you saw the comments from Tua recently. He's not alone in that department. You either loved Flo as a head coach or you hated Flo as a head coach. Can you learn from that? Can you communicate to an owner that, hey, I learned my lesson from that. I'm a different guy now, blah, whatever. I mean, he's still that way as a defensive coordinator too. He's always going to be the kind of guy that, he demands the best. And if he doesn't get it, he's not going to respond in the most cute and cuddly way. But as the defensive coordinator, he's doing it.
I love him, man. I love him. I think the dude's great.
Yeah, and he's. I like the fight fire with fire comment. This week when he was asked about defending what Detroit does. So yeah, I mean, the thing that I can't believe in this game is if the Lions lose this game. If they win this game, they're tied for first place. If they lose the game, they're potentially tied for last place. Like, that's how good the NFC North is right now. And at some Chicago hasn't run this division gauntlet yet, so I still think that they kind of fall back. But the fact that
Green
the
Bay
last
is
place
nasty
team,
too.
and you love the quarterback. I know you love the quarterback.
I
That's
do.
your guy.
Listen, I do, man. And he's
I
legit.
agree with you.
And they're going to beat the Texans this week. It's a great matchup. That's another great matchup. I think
That
the
is another
Packers
great
win.
matchup. We've got finally, and we don't have a morning show this week because we got the London games. It's like usually you like to see all these games get previewed, so we'll do it. We're on the air at 7 Eastern. Philly area native. I say Philly area because only Philly people who grew up in Philly are Philly natives, Anthony. But Colleen Wolfe, I get that all the time up from. Oh yeah, you're from Philly. I'm from Philly. Where are you from? Ambler. No, you're not from Philly. Right? Where did I get the other day? Lansdale. Lansdale. You're not from Philly. Get out of here. Where are you from? 18th in Oregon. Oh yeah, you're from Philly. Okay, gotcha.
Where are you from? I'm from Johnson's Field.
That's right. Exactly. We're talking neighborhoods. So yeah, Colleen's hosting our coverage every week at 7 a.m. She's doing a great job. It's ungodly hours for the people out in LA. We'll be on from home. The insiders will be part of that. So we'll be part of the coverage, breaking it all down. But I'm just saying, we like to be out at the game. So start next week. We're back to game day morning, full game day morning. We'll be at games. I think I've got.
Where you
next
traveling?
week I got the Giants. Next week I got 2 Giants games back to back in Pittsburgh, and then they got the Commanders at home coming up here. So they've got some tough games coming up here. So if they got any visions of contending, they better win this game against the Eagles this week.
Well, the Eagles have to win. It's a referendum on the Eagles, by the way. And the quarterback needs to use the middle of the field. And the OC needs to have a better script. I've read a lot of bad scripts in my day, and these are hot garbage. But forget that. Niners Chiefs, another great game, dude.
How about that one? A little Super Bowl rematch for you with Andy coming off a bye. What's his record coming off a bye lately?
21-4.
It's
21-4.
It's 8-3 with the Chiefs. He's actually been worse. I mean, worse.
Yeah, it's 21-4 is his record after
total. So he only lost one time coming off a bye with the Eagles. Is that right?
21-4 is his record. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know the breakdown.
Yeah. I think I saw 8. Maybe. Yeah, I think I saw 8-3 with the Chiefs. So yeah, you expect him. You expect him to have, and Matt Nagy and Spags, everybody. You expect them to have the full gamut of everything ready to go. So the question with the Chiefs is what move do they make before the deadline? But the problem is the Raiders weren't trading them Devontae Adams. No way.
No.
And the Browns weren't trading him Amari Cooper. No way. So they got to find their guy in the NFC.
Yeah.
Or like DeAndre Hopkins could be a possibility for them because the Titans are out of it. But they're going to have to pay a little bit more. They have to pay a defending.
How about like Deontay Johnson?
Yeah, Deontay Johnson's a possibility as well, but Carolina, from what I heard, really likes Johnson. He's in the last year, and eventually would like to do an extension with him. So again, if they want to get him, they're going to have to blow Carolina away because Carolina didn't have many pieces, and they finally found one in Johnson.
All right, and Russell Wilson, what was precipitated that move?
Mike Tomlin wanted it to happen. I mean, did you see the comment from Arthur Smith yesterday, the offensive coordinator, where he said, whatever Mike tells me to do, I'll be ready either way or something like that. It's like, these guys are sitting there saying, we got this guy in Justin Fields. All right. And they're scheming it up differently. He's playing differently than he has before. They're trying to not shoehorn him in, but they're trying to get him into the mindset of winning football. Fewer mistakes. Yes, it's going to take away from some of the explosive stuff that he's done. But if you can build that base, that fundamental base, and then bring in what he used to do on top of that, now you've got yourself a legitimate weapon. But that takes time. And in their mind, they were building it. They were working toward that. But Tomlin had his head set on, since Wilson was available, he was telling people inside the building, we could get this guy for a veteran minimum. Well, yeah, but there's a reason for that, right? Because Denver's eating a ton of money to get rid of him.
Yeah.
But Tomlin has been locked in. And, he gets the benefit of the doubt considering his history and certainly what they think of him inside the building. But this is a wild one, man. Justin Fields, I could have played better. I wouldn't have left any doubt. Justin, you played really well, man. And that's what Arthur Smith said. Sometimes guys are a little too hard on themselves. So, yeah, it's a wild one. I just don't like. Did Tomlin not watch the last couple of years? Because
I know
it's not like Russ is going to come in and play error-free football. He's made some mental mistakes.
Terrible.
He did it in the spring and he did it this summer too, as well.
Yeah. Hey, last thing, Washington are like, how real are the Commanders now? Their defense is not very good. The kid,
No.
we love Jaden Daniels, but can they still win the East?
They could win the East, sure. I mean, who's running away with it? That's the. I mean, they're gonna be in the mix. They're probably playing a little above their heads, but I think that there's. I like them coming in. I thought they were a sneaky playoff team, at most, and at the very least, the team that late in the season, particularly in the division, if you needed a win and you got Washington coming in, these guys, they're gonna play. Like I thought they were gonna be that. I'm surprised that they peaked as early as they have, and maybe they have peaked. Maybe it's they kind of hold on and play, I don't know, 500 football the rest of the way. But if they do, it still puts them in the postseason and potentially as the NFC East champs. So the Jonathan Allen loss is a big one for them, losing him for the season. But especially on the defensive side of the ball, which you're asking about. But they've got enough talent that they're going to be in the mix.
All right, repeat after me.
Go ahead.
Let's go Flyers. Let's go Flyers. Let's go Flyers.
Yeah, but that's the right. We've gone over this before because it was always "Let's go Flyers," and then it became at some point "Let's go Fly." I can't even.
We did this on the show.
Right way.
Do you remember it?
We did this. Yeah,
on the show. When
I can't even do it the wrong way.
WIP, God Lord, we did. There was a controversy. They changed the chant, and we were like, "No, the original chant is Let's go Flyers."
I can't even do it. I'm trying to do it the wrong way, and I can't, which is good. Because that means that, it's in my bones. Let's go Flyers.
Yes.
Like that. It's they accent the last syllable, which Anthony, you correctly identified. That is the Rangers influence. Like let's go Rangers. I don't know. I can't even do it the wrong way. But no, all right, so we can do it again. Yeah. Let's go Flyers. Yeah.
Let's go Flyers. Let's go Flyers. Mikey, great stuff. What you got?
I got a Phillies. Where's my fly? I got a Phillies helmet. I gotta get a Flyers thing for the show.
Can I get a quick prediction out of him?
Yeah, go ahead.
For what?
I need a Garafolo Adamas. Will Daniel Jones break his streak of 651 days without a passing touchdown at MetLife Stadium?
600? Is it really 651
It's
days?
only like 5 games because he was hurt.
I know he was hurt for that. It's only 5 games. Will he throw a touchdown this week? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. I think he gets in the end zone. Listen, the Giants haven't done a lot of things at MetLife Stadium in a long time, like score a touchdown against the Cowboys. They were held out of the end zone this last game, and then the year before they got shut out. Like, it's going to be 4 calendar years before they finally score a touchdown against the Cowboys.
That's fabulous. That's fabulous. Brother, we love you, man. Make us proud. You make us proud. Thank you.
You got it, homeboy. Enjoy the game. And what did I say? Eagles? Yeah, hopefully I'm right about it.
Yeah. You're the best. Love you, buddy. There he is, the great Mikey G, Garafolo. All right, a lot to do. We got our Rothman doc coming up. Nice. I love it. And I need to ask her, Dr. Megan Bishop, I need to ask her about Paul George.
Oh, yeah.
And the hyperextended knee. Mm-hmm. All right. So we got Dr. Bishop coming up. First, let's do, speaking of med, what about Rite Aid?
Let's go Rite Aid. Let's go to Rite Aid for all your vaccines. Protect yourself and your family by staying up to date on your immunizations. Rite Aid pharmacists are specially trained, certified immunizers, and most vaccines are no cost with insurance or through governmental plans like Medicare Part D. They've got COVID-19, shingles, pneumonia, tetanus, whooping cough, chickenpox, and more. And don't forget that sneaky RSV, a highly contagious seasonal virus that affects the respiratory tract, very common in young kids. And most will be infected by each too. You got COVID-19 vaccines. The shingles. Shingles are no fun. What is shingles? It's a painful rash caused by the same virus that causes chickenpox. Usually develops on one side of your face or body. Almost 1 out of every 3 people will get shingles.
Cousin Joey
in their
had
team.
no joke.
Yeah, it's painful.
Oh, he's like, dude. He's like, it's no good.
So if you've had chickenpox, like most of us
He tried
have,
to drink his way through it.
you are at risk for shingles.
Had him twice.
You've had shingles twice?
You had it?
No, chicken pox. I had him twice. So
you better
I'm
get a
terrified of
vaccine. You better
shingles.
get the Rite Aid right away. More than
That thing
99% of
percolated in you,
Americans.
Fraser.
More than 99% of Americans born in or before 1980 have had the chickenpox. So as you get older, the risk goes up. Vaccine centers at Rite Aid. Select Rite Aid stores have dedicated pharmacists ready to administer vaccines and answer all your questions. Have questions on what immunizations you need? Not sure if you're up to date or feeling nervous? Just ask a Rite Aid pharmacist. They'll help you out. No questions are too small. Just walk in or schedule an appointment Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. State your age and health restrictions. State age and health restrictions may apply. Ask a Rite Aid pharmacist for details.
All right, VG. Also, this weekend, Parks Casino. All right, you're looking for something to do. The mecca of entertainment is Parks Casino, our casino of choice. That's right. The Excite Center, Parks Casino, what a venue. You ready for this lineup? Because Parks, right off the Street Road exit, 95, the PA Turnpike. In fact, Andrew and I, Frazier, we were hanging at Parks. How about it, man? It's such a great place.
Such a great place. So much stuff to do, too.
I know. You look around and all the food, the restaurants, the bars, like the whole thing,
That
the beer
noodle house,
garden.
man.
Yeah, I know. The Noodle House is it.
It's an adult playground.
Yeah, it is. Park Steakhouse, the sportsbook's ridiculous. Poker room. I mean, they got it all.
Saturday happy hours.
Yeah, they got it all, man. It's the best. And the Excite Center, a 1,500-seat venue inside Parks Casino, is fantastic. All right? It really is. It's a great place to see the country's best comedians and music headliners. Tickets on sale right now. I love doing this. You ready? October 24th, the return of the Queens, TLC.
Oh, all right. I thought you were going to pay the bell. Hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. I don't want no scrub.
October 25th, comedian Michael Blaustein.
Good.
November
funny
4th.
guy.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
I like him.
Mikey G was just texting me something. November 1st, Invincible, a tribute to Michael Jackson.
It's close to midnight. Something's evil's lurking in the dark.
November 14th, Ezra Ray Hart, the lead singers from Sugar Ray, Better Than Ezra, Tonic, joined together for an incredible night.
Looking around the house, hidden behind the window in the dark.
Between you and
Searching for
Frazier.
signs of life, but there's nobody home. It was good.
November 23rd, comedian Steve Trevino. December 6th, Patti LaBelle.
I'm on my own. Why did it end this way?
December 14th, comedian Eric D'Alessandro. Enjoy dinner and drinks before the show. Liberty Bell Gastro Pub, Parks Grill Steakhouse, Bamboo Noodle House, ParksCasino.com to buy all tickets. Parks Casino, this is how you win. You got to be 21. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. I love this, our feature every week where we go into, we're all sports guys, right? So we all love it. And we're all weekend warriors and driveway heroes. And, you know, we run into all kinds of issues. So it's great to have the Rothman team at our disposal. Rothman Orthopedics, who specialize in you. And joining us right now, she's amazing, Dr. Megan Bishop. She's a surgeon for Rothman, obviously. And, of course, she's the head team physician of Drexel University. She specializes in knee, shoulder, and elbow. Doc, good morning.
Good morning, Anthony. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for having me.
What a pleasure.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? So I want to get into the hyperextended knee, Doc. All right? So we've all kind of done that playing ball where that weird feeling, all of a sudden you do it and your knee feels like it's floating.
Yeah, so there's a number of different motions your knee can undergo when you feel like it's floating, but particularly with a hyperextended knee, That's when your knee over bends backwards. Or another way to think about it is when you actually over straighten your knee or hyper straighten your knee. So it can cause a different type of injuries than certain other motions, like a pivot or a twist or like a hyperflexion type injury. They can cause different type of injuries than the hyperextension injury where you actually over straighten your knee.
Well, that's interesting, guy. You don't even think about the relation, and I guess, Doc, that's one of the things that when you're looking at these injuries, how it affects other parts of the body is such a big deal, especially when we're talking about professional athletes.
Yeah, absolutely. And how the injury occurred is important too. Specific with Paul George's, I believe, was a non-contact type plant,
right,
where he hyperextended. So you can also hyperextend your knee when someone runs into the front of your knee. So that can be a little bit more high energy trauma and cause even more damage potentially.
When they say it's a bone bruise, what does that mean?
So a bone bruise is probably one of the best case scenarios you could get from a hyperextended knee. It essentially is a tiny little micro fractures that you get in the bone that hurt and can cause some fluid and swelling in the knee. But it generally will heal on its own with rest and time. Does not require surgery or any kind of further intervention to be able to get that bone bruise to heal. So it's essentially when the two bones, when you hyperextend, kind of bang into each other, and it causes a bruise just like it would anywhere else on your body.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I was just thinking the same thing. That's where the two bones come together with force, right? So because of that trauma, that force, it causes the trauma.
Exactly. And, you can injure other things with a hyperextension injury. You could injure cartilage. You could injure ligaments inside the knee. So it's pretty much a best case scenario when you just come out with a bone bruise.
All right. So when we're looking at, in this case, Paul George, because the opener is next week. And let's just also let everybody know that, Doc isn't treating Paul George. So we're talking about more in general, that injury. What's the best case? Is it just complete rest? Do you have to do anything? And is there any concerns that you could come back too soon?
Yeah, I think the recovery from a bone bruise depends. It depends on how significant it is. It depends on their activity level. Obviously, Paul George is a high impact, a big guy, going to be putting a lot of pressure on that knee. So things you want to look for are no pain anymore with weight bearing. You want to make sure that he doesn't have any swelling in the knee. That should be resolved. And occasionally you could drain the knee and remove some swelling, and that can help speed up the process as well. But those are kind of the factors that you're looking for to make sure that his swelling is gone, his pain is gone, and he's able to do some sports-specific rehab to be able to make sure he's ready to get back on the court. This could be from a few days up to maybe a couple weeks.
All right. I mean, listen, it's a long season, and one of the things, especially when you're dealing with delicate guys in their 30s that have played a lot. Like, is there such a thing in basketball where it's just the amount of pounding for all those years, right? That there is this cumulative effect that wears down knees?
Absolutely. And that's really with any type of athlete or person that does high impact type sports. You can get micro trauma to the knee. You can have injuries that at some point will accumulate, and you can actually get some arthritis in the knee that may cause some flare ups. So hopefully he's not experiencing that, but it's certainly a possibility as well.
And that's where load management was born, right? Like it's, hey, we have to try to minimize just their exposure to it.
Yeah, and I know they're doing that with Joel, it seems like this year a lot with an amount of injuries he's had to his knee as well. So it is a long season, like you said. So the goal is to be able to get them ready for the healthy in the playoffs.
Dr. Bishop, what's your favorite sport?
Well, I am a former long distance runner, so I would say,
wow.
I love track and field and marathon running. But I guess in terms of the main sports, I would probably say football. I'm a big Eagles fan.
Wow, nice. That's awesome. Hey, real quick, Dr. Bishop, the long distance, we have a lot of runners in the audience. What's your best overall advice for, you look at people in their 40s and 50s and 60s that are still enjoy running to kind of, help, really protect themselves so they can run?
Yeah, that's a great question. I always recommend, especially if patients are having some problems with injuries at that time, to incorporate some cross training too. Potentially not just make running your only form of cardio exercise. You can get on the elliptical or try to swim in a pool, ride a bike a couple days a week, but you can keep doing running, but maybe not do it every day if you find, especially with knee pain specifically. I also think it's actually really important to incorporate sports massage in your 40s and 50s too. You're just not quite as limber as you used to be, and I think it's a good way to be able to help the muscles recover.
Well, that's great. Yeah, I
always love
the
a good
limber.
massage.
Yeah, the limber.
Good excuse to get one, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just feeling it now. I know I'm way too tight. I got to do yoga. I got to do the hot yoga. Dr. Bishop, what a pleasure, man. Really, it's great to talk to you, and it's great to have Rothman Orthopedics on our team, man, at our disposal.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Have a great rest of your guys'
Go
day.
Birds.
Go Birds.
Dr. Megan Bishop, she's fantastic. Currently the head team physician at Drexel University. She specializes in injuries to the knee, shoulder, elbow, and thanks to all of our friends over at Rothman Orthopedics who specialize in you. All right, man, this show is just flying by.
It is.
There's so much stuff going on, and I got to get to
Leatherhead.
my resident Leatherhead. That's right. This portion of the program is presented by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. TrueMark.com/PHLY to find out the credit union difference. That's right. Resident Leatherhead, Franny Films joins us.
Franny Films.
Good morning, Franny.
What's up, man? What's up, guys? Franny Films, we'll workshop it. We'll see if it sticks.
Yeah, Franny Films is good. I kind of like that. You do look actually not as peaked as last week. Did you get out in the sun a little bit this week?
Try to get a little bit of sun. I'm in a different room in my house today, so that the lighting might be a little bit different. It might be affecting that, but trying to get a little bit of sun. Taking the dog for a little bit extra walk, just to get out in nature a little bit.
Nice. Oh, I like it. All right. Well, let's talk about Sunday. This is a hugely important game for a lot of reasons, right? I mean, it goes beyond just the Barkley revenge game and the Saquon Bowl. There is a lot to deal with. And it begins with game script, first possession, first quarter, getting some offense, getting some good feeling on this offense. Let's make you Kellen Moore, and let's go. Where are you attacking this Giants defense?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, look, you look at that defensive front for the Giants, and that is the strength of their football team right now. They lead the league in sacks, one of the best pressure rates in football. They lost Kayvon Thibodeau a couple weeks ago to injured reserve, but I still think that this front is going to be a big issue at times in this game for the Philadelphia Eagles, especially without Jordan Mailata. And so for me, I think one of the stresses early on in this game for the Eagles will be, number one, obviously you want to keep Jalen Hurts upright, but you want to try and get him into a rhythm. Listening to Kellen Moore speak over the last couple of weeks, and they talk about some of the priorities that they have early on in the game, and they want to spread the ball around and try and push different buttons to see how the defense reacts. I think you want to try and see if you can get Jalen in that rhythm. He starts 0 for 5 against Cleveland, and Nick Sirianni talked about that after the game. He said, hey, credit to Jalen for starting 0 for 5, but then it was like something completing 16 of his next 20. That's good mental toughness from Jalen Hurts, but I think you want to try and get him into a rhythm. You don't want to go 3 and out again here to start this game. You'd like to be able to get some points on the board, and so for me, trying to get Jalen into a bit of a rhythm, but at the end of the day, guys, this game is going to be won on both sides of the football along the lines of scrimmage. I think this is a line of scrimmage game here for the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, it's always you and I agree. That's always paramount. It'll be interesting, without Goddard, right? Because we don't talk a lot about that. We talk about the middle of the field. All right. Now, I understand that you don't have the prototypical slot receiver. However, AJ Brown ran a lot out of the slot in Tennessee. Devontae could do that. You went and got Jahan Dotson without Goddard. You might want to run a little bit more 11 personnel, and Dotson could be on the outside, and you can run Devontae or AJ out of the slot to get some work over the middle of the field. It's getting ridiculous now.
Yeah, I mean, I did the piece earlier this week on allphly.com highlighting Jalen Hurts and some of the issues that he has had and really diving into the numbers as to why that may be the case. And really the big thing is just everything feels difficult, right? And we talked about that on Monday morning. And a big part of that is the lack of throws to the middle of the field. And the middle of the field has proven to be one of the more fertile grounds for opposing offenses to be able to create those explosive plays. And since Jalen is not attacking that part of the field and hasn't been, that's why things can be a little bit volatile in terms of the way that their ability to move the football consistently through the air. And so, I can't sit here and say this is why Jalen Hurts doesn't like to throw to the middle, but I think that's a little bit of blame on both sides, right? Jalen obviously has to embrace those throws, but we also don't see a lot of throws built into the offense for him to attack the middle of the field either. And so, I can see it from both angles, but at the end of the day, like they have to attack the middle more often.
Though. You don't need to be, a sleuth to go, well, Kellen Moore ran a lot in the middle of the field when he was in Dallas. That's part of the offense. We know the quarterback. I mean, I think we can safely surmise that the quarterback doesn't feel comfortable. How do you make him feel comfortable, right? Like, that's an issue. Obviously, he's not the tallest guy in the world. So, obviously, I think he probably feels a little sketchy when it comes to his throwing lanes and the windows and being able to see that stuff. I think there's got to be some sort of design to help him feel that way, to let him trust himself, because he's got to trust it more. He's been late on throws. He needs to trust what he sees more.
And that's where all of those different tools that we talk about that offenses have at their disposal, whether it's motion, which we know that the Eagles don't do, play action. They had 2 play action throws in the entire game last week, right? There's a whole list of those things that are at offense's disposal. But if you don't do them, then you're really putting all the emphasis on the quarterback to be able to make those throws in the middle of the field without having it, right? And so, you look at Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, they don't motion. They hike the ball late in the snap, right, late in the pre-snap phase with no time left on the clock. It's a very static offense in that way. But Aaron Rodgers, he's the captain of the ship, right? He's running the entire show. If Jalen Hurts isn't going to be that guy and you're not doing all those things to help him, that's to me is where that disconnect is, and that's where you're going to have the streakiness of this pass game.
Yeah. All right, let's look at flip side, and let's look Eagles defense. Now, no, Andrew Thomas is a monster, right? Yeah. That's a big deal. So Eagles have to. This is not a great offensive line. They don't have the depth that the Eagles have in the O-line that could. You never like to play without Mailata, but they're more equipped to do so than the Giants without Andrew Thomas. How are you attacking Daniel Jones in that Giant offense?
Yeah, I mean, look, they've been really good at trying to keep Jones upright so far here this season. They've been one of the best in terms of preventing pressures, preventing sacks. But over the course of his career, when you are able to pressure Daniel Jones, I mean, that has been he's like one of the biggest in the league in terms of like the drop off from his effectiveness when he's got a clean pocket versus when he's under pressure. So whether the Eagles have to blitz, and we saw Cooper DeJean, a big part of that last week. We've seen Zach Bond, we've seen Nakobe Dean added into these pressures. If they have to blitz, that's fine. But if not, I mean, they should be able to get home with their front four. Josh Sweat going up against Josh Azudu, who looks like is going to be that starting left tackle. He's more of a guard, in my opinion, guys. He's not a guy that is that fleet of foot. And really, when you look across the scope of their entire offensive line, they are more run blockers than pass protectors, right? And just in terms of their overall strengths. And so I think when you look at this group, the Eagles should be able to get home. If they're able to stop the run, make the Giants more one-dimensional, they should have time to be able to get home. The big thing was you got to be able to lock down Malik Nabers as well, because he's been there when he has been in the game, and he hasn't been for the last 2 weeks, but he's set to return on Sunday. He's the focal point. I mean, they were just feeding him targets the first 4 weeks of the season before the injury. And so to me, yes, I agree. Josh Sweat versus Josh Azudu, that should be a great matchup that should play into the Eagles' hands. But the coverage on the back end, you've got to be able to give those guys enough time to be able to get home to Jones.
What are you seeing the issue with the tackling issue, the linebackers, who you were talking about, Zach Bond looked fantastic against New Orleans, right? The whole thing. And the Kobe Dean's spotty.
Yep.
What are you seeing from that group?
Yeah, I think when you look at Nakobe Dean, the first 3 games of the season, I think were pretty strong. I thought that he did some really good things in terms of pressing the line of scrimmage and seeing things. He didn't miss a ton of tackles. The last couple of weeks, I think we've seen some of the athletic limitations, some of the physical limitations with Dean show up at times. A lot of those missed tackles, they're in space where he's got to break down, he's got to come to balance and then kind of re-accelerate to get to the ball carrier. And that's not a strength of his. He's more of a run-through guy. When he gets to top speed, just let him keep going. The moment he has to stop and break down and come to balance and then readjust, that's where he's going to miss a lot of those tackles. And so, we've seen that pop up a couple times. We saw him lose the edge to Deshaun Watson this past week. I missed a couple tackles in the flat. And so I just think that with Dean, you want to see him pressing downhill and really just kind of be on a beeline for the ball carrier. When he's able to do that, then he's in good shape. I think with Zach Bond, the athleticism is certainly there. It's just more like the eye discipline type of thing. And I think overall he's been solid so far over these first few games. I think not as consistent as Dean from the eye discipline standpoint, but he's in position more often than not. I think at the end of the day, you just want to be able to see those guys up front continue to win those one-on-ones. We just haven't seen it quite enough for those guys to be like, not just like hold up the point of attack. Yep. Because that's the thing is that Georgia, like Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, those guys look, hey, hold the point of attack, but we're not trying to get off the blocks. Let those linebackers flow to the football. I think you want to see more of that from Jordan Davis, from Jalen Carter. Hey, hold the block. That's great. But when that ball carrier is coming, shed the block, get off that guy, and then get home and make the stop yourself.
Well, that means the problem, again, we go back to the Georgia thing, which is interesting because they have a legion of players, right? So the snap counts were low, right? They didn't need to be on the field, right? Because you had, Kirby's trying to get everybody on the field. I mean, he's got blue chippers behind him. That's question. The one interesting piece about it. Hey, let me ask you this, because this is a great weekend. Texas, we got Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, all the slate of college games that are interesting. Sunday is ridiculous because Lions, Vikings, Chiefs, Niners, Eagles, Giants, obviously. I mean, it goes on and on. Sunday night's interesting with Russell Wilson against and Devontae Adams playing for the Jets. That's interesting. Take us through a little bit of your weekend, because I know what I'm doing this weekend.
Yeah, I try and take in as much on Saturday as possible. I do try and make Saturday where I try, I've got a 5-year-old boy. So, the three of us, my wife and I and our son, we try and spend as much time as we can on Saturday. So I'll take in some of these games, especially once we get to the night and the game of the week on Saturday. I'm usually taking that in, and I'm staying up late for anything that's out west from college football standpoint. And then usually, honestly, by the 1 o'clock window, I'll be, obviously this week the Eagles playing at 1. I'll be right there in the studio getting ready for the pregame show. But I'll always have an extra eyeball on that extra screen, just keeping an eye on the games going on around us. Really, the thing starts on Sunday night. Or as soon as the film starts hitting my laptop, that's when I start going through the film of all these games. Sunday morning, before I come into the studios there at PHLY, I'm going through a lot of the college tape from the night before. And so, last week, first thing I wake up, I take the dog out, I get my coffee, I come in, the sun hasn't gone up yet, but I'm watching Ohio State, Oregon from the night before. All right, let's get through the film. Let's watch these.
Dude, that was unbelievable.
Let's get through this stuff. So that'll probably be the plan this week. It'll be Texas, Georgia, first thing Sunday morning.
You're a draft man like myself. We love the draft. I'm gonna pose you a draft conundrum. Okay. All right, but it's not football. It's basketball. Cool. On one hand, you have an undersized 2-guard who's got ability, right? Can shoot the ball a little bit, right? Can play a little point, but he doesn't have the handle, right? But big school, right? Got young, has some promise. Now, your best player is also an undersized 2-guard, so you have that in mind. The other player is a 6'9" wing who is also at an SEC school, who could shoot the 3, who is doubled and tripled constantly throughout his college career as the go-to player. Who are you taking?
Yeah, probably going to go with that wing. You want some length out there on the perimeter. You want the guy that can offer something a little bit different than what you already have. To me, the way that you painted that picture, and obviously I'm not studying the NBA draft as closely, but for me, I'm going with the latter there. Give me the wing, give me the length there on the perimeter.
Yeah, Dalton Connect is the guy who wound up. What do you have last night again?
35.
35.
7 and 8.
What did he score? Hey, how many threes?
8. Scored the last 20 of 22 points.
Franny.
Yeah.
Anyway, you like the Bird Sunday? What do you think?
Guys, I've got a little bit of a pit in my stomach on this one. I got a little bit of a pit in my stomach on this one, guys. That defense is real. Dexter Lawrence is a problem. The Eagles had issues with Dalvin Tomlinson last week, stopping him in the run game. We talked about that on the show, on the PHLY Eagles show yesterday, myself and Bo Wolf. Just, what do you think their plan will be in the run game, trying to handle Lawrence? I think that they have to try and go up the middle on those guys, but they have to do a much better job at creating some movement against Lawrence than what they did last week against Cleveland. The offensive line did not perform all that well, particularly on the interior against that defensive interior for the Browns. And so they're going to need a step up and play, especially because you don't want to be one-dimensional against Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence. You don't want to get in the 3rd and long against that group. They're blitzing extremely well, not as often as other teams, but they're the 2nd most productive blitzing team in football. You don't want to get to 3rd and long against this group.
This is a 3 gummy game.
I think because of the NFC East aspect of it, yeah. I mean, you're already going in with high levels of stress. This might be a 3 gummy game. In my parlance, this is like extra tomato pie season. So yeah, I'm probably bringing a little bit extra of that for Sunday.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're spot on. We love you, man. Yeah, Franny, you're so much fun. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Here he is, Fran Duffy, Franny Films.
So I was actually, while that segment was going on, I was actually polling some nicknames for Fran. The 3 were Franny Films, Leatherhead Fran, and Fran the Man. And right now, Franny Films is taking the lead with 43%, and following behind is Fran the Man with 39.
Fran the Man.
I don't like Fran the Man. It's too generic.
Stan the Man.
Yeah.
There's too many demands.
Well, Franny
Films is pretty strong.
Films is winning, so.
Yeah. I listen, I'm with you. Time now for our Rite Aid Back in the Moment.
Back in the day while we were making cocktails, we're doing it all here.
I love it. Back in the day moment. Here it is.
We're going back. We're going back. We're going back in the day with Rite Aid. Yeah!
Look at that. I love it. What do we got?
All right, cuz on this day, 2011, the
2011.
The Sixers got new ownership. This is when David Harris, the Harrison Blitzer, bought from the Comcast ownership group.
Oh, wow.
And so today was the anniversary. And then I remember this vividly because then came Andrew Bynum. And that was our first play.
Right, Andrew. Oh, my God.
Dude.
Wow. Look at AI.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah, that's our back in the day moment. Sixers got a new ownership group.
Look at that.
We're still waiting for a championship, but
Yeah, I hear you. Mm-hmm. Yo, Eagles Giants, man, how we're feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, Franny's got a pit in his
Nobody
stomach.
feels good.
I mean, they got to win.
Brad likes so much more talent.
The Giants stink.
I know.
They do. I mean, listen, their defense is I'm with Fran.
Us in the playoffs.
Their defense is something, right? I know they did at the end of the season last year.
Yeah, it wasn't good at all.
No, before the playoffs.
No, it was before the playoffs.
Yeah, that's when Jalen reached out to Wink Martindale.
Yeah, remember that? He couldn't handle the blitz.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing. Wink's not there.
Where's that, Michigan now?
Listen, their defense is legitimate.
Yeah.
But I keep going back to it.
Sacks.
I go back to it. Andrew Thomas being out is a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, man.
It's a big deal if Jalen Carter doesn't practice today.
Yeah, I saw that too.
He didn't practice yesterday with a shoulder thing.
I know. They gotta win.
They gotta win.
They have to win.
Especially for our sanity. We can't lose to another New York team after what just happened.
Well, dude,
basketball and baseball.
In the name of Joe Pisarcik, they have to win.
So you know who Joe Pisarcik is?
Sounds so familiar.
All right. So Joe Pisarcik is the quarterback of the Giants in the late 70s. Was it 78, 77, 77? It's the initial miracle of the Meadowlands.
Oh, he was that quarterback?
Yes.
Herm Edwards picked the fumble from him?
Yes.
No way.
Joe Pisarcik.
Oh, my God.
And he'll say to this day that the call came from the sidelines. He wanted to kneel down.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But the coach told him no. They're going to run Zonka. And there was a fumble, and that was the miracle of the Meadowlands. Diehards, thank you. We always appreciate you. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for hanging with us and all the stuff on all PHLY. All right.
There's someone on the line right now who might lift your spirits just a little bit about this Eagles-Giants game. His name is Black Gritty.
Yeah, let's
go.
Black Gritty.
Cheap seats.
Oh, man.
Good morning, guys. Sorry, I was out late last night. My birthday was yesterday.
Nice. Happy birthday.
I appreciate you guys, but just know that for the community, I went up to New York City and was helping clean up the trash. There's a lot of trash there. The lights are help soothing me from all the police activity. I mean, it was crazy, bro. I you just see stuff like this all over the ground. Me and my daughter were up there just, picking up the trash, trying to help out the community. And, I don't really have any props or anything today. Obviously, I'm still a little tired. On my birthday, I like to give back to the community. It's amazing how when you go watch a baseball game, that you're not involved in the stress-free life you can have watching Mets fans get thrown out of their own stadium when they only show up to fill it up 70% capacity, and 25% of that is Dodgers fans. I'm like, wow, cuz. So I got to spend my birthday saying bleep the Mets to their face and laughing along with Dodgers fans. And I mean, again, Mets fans getting kicked out of their own stadium. Oh, just it made my heart feel good, cuz I don't like wishing the enemies any kind of trouble or anything like. But it's the Mets, cuz I had to get some joy back in my heart talking trash to New York City and helping take out the trash again. I apologize. I'm still at my jammies. But let me tell you something, cuz.
No, is that a robe?
Yeah, he's a robesman.
Huh?
That's a nice robe.
Oh yeah. Hey, look, I woke up just for you, brother. I didn't get to sleep till like 3 or 4 o'clock this morning. I was out partying all day and all night last night. I'm old, but I'm still kicking, cuz I'm doing what I'm doing out here in these streets. So yeah, I took my daughter, I took a couple friends, and like I said, we was out there living the life. We was in the clubhouse suites because we was eating good out there.
Nice.
Terrible stadium. Horrible looking. It's just like New York City. It looks good on the outside, but once you get in there, trash and trash people everywhere. Ugly too. Oh God. Anyway, let me focus. Let me. Huh?
Did you party with Malik Nabers?
Let me tell you something about these Giants, boy. Okay, you brought me there, JP. Let me tighten up for you, JP. BG. You know what? You know what you need to do. Do what I do. So the Eagles always talk about they're not reaching their standard, right? Well, the standard is just winning now. I don't know what the standard is that they never reached, that they kept talking about for forever. I mean, I didn't win a Super Bowl. I'm just going to readjust the standard for everybody. Go out there, Nick Sirianni, and try to make sure that somebody else gets fired, all right? Make the Mara family fire their general manager for letting Saquon get away and come back up there to New York City. That's the thing you need to be focused on. I know they play us tough. I know it's a problem. Nobody wants to play in that trash stadium, right? It's going to be a tough game, guys. I've lowered my standards to just going up there and getting a win. But, Nick, you need to make somebody else worry about their job so you don't have to worry about your job. Make somebody else fear what's going on with them. Everybody's back except for Goddard. The offense needs to just execute. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's Jalen. All I know is I want some joy and peace back in my life like I had last night laughing at New Yorkers. So please go up there and just change the narrative. We have to go on a run right now. If the team is together, go up there and show me that you're together. I personally think Saquon's going to be the new Giant killer. I'm thinking 2 touchdowns, 150 all-purpose yards, because you've got to do something to beat that blitz they're going to throw at you. You've got to do it. And if you miss one tackle, Saquon's hitting his head on the goalpost, and that's what I need to see. Defense, Look at Ringo. Look at Ringo. Look at the young guy who don't have a second contract. You saw he out there hitting? Stop making business decisions. I know Slade's the captain. Don't listen to him. Look at Ringo. Look at Quinyon. Quinyon the Don out there talking trash to everybody. People out there, Google me, kids like, I ain't got Google. I work every day. I ain't got time to be on the internet playing video games and doing podcasts with Michael Parsons. I got a job to do. So go to New York City and do like your boy Black Gritty. Help take out the trash and bring me home a George W. Okay? Fly, Eagles, fly, and go Birds!
Black Gritty, baby. He's the greatest.
Listen, cuz, I got to come hang out with y'all. I keep forgetting about the drinks, cuz I got to get there on a Friday. I need to drink with y'all.
Well,
I'll talk to y'all.
Stuff. We love you, buddy. Thank you. Black Gritty, always bringing it. So, JP is a great mixologist. What do we got here?
All right, cuz you're going to like this. You know why? So we're making Manhattan simply because the Giants wish they could play in Manhattan.
Right.
Nice.
So we're going to drink Manhattan. It's an honor.
I like it. All right.
So it's very simple for all those out there. It's a very classy drink. If you're going on a little date, you don't want to order a Bud Light. Get something nice. A Manhattan. It's pretty simple. You can do bourbon. I got some rye whiskey. I'm a rye whiskey guy. We got some sweet vermouth. You get your, I still can't pronounce this, Angostura.
Yeah, you're on
bitters.
It. Yep.
Aromatic bitters. Make it nice and aromatic, right? And we got our maraschino cherries.
It's high quality.
I like you got the dirty cherries.
That's right.
Filthy cherries.
Filthy cherries?
Yeah, there's such a thing called filthy cherries.
Well, I just found this out because VG brought this up before we went on air. You can shake these, which I'm not a shaker. I typically stir these. You want to make sure you stir the whisk. But
yeah, it's very rare it's shaken. Only South Wark in Queen Village made like Esquire's magazine's top 10 bars in the country. They used to shake them.
Okay. And they shake.
That was the only place that shook them. Traditionalists will say once it's shaken, it's not a Manhattan. Okay. But
what's
South
it
Wark
become?
said bleep you. Just it's not even
a New York.
But yeah, it's a South Wark.
Okay.
It becomes a Staten Island.
That's pretty good. All right. Listen, they got to win, man.
They got to.
They got to win. They got to win. Because listen,
I don't like
after the Knicks and then the Mets, we got to beat.
I gotta say,
we got to beat the Giants. I don't like losing to New York.
Gritty with the blue and the red lights. I know he's going the police theme, but the Giant colors in his background.
It smells good, man. It's a nice Manhattan.
Probably my favorite cocktail.
Yeah. Is it really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you're
I'll
an
bop
aristocrat.
around little Four Seasons Manhattan.
Yeah.
Ritz Carlton Manhattan.
You're a Ritz Carlton. Yeah. I like it.
You know what goes down well with a nice drink?
What's that?
Some movies and TV recommendations.
Oh, yeah.
Well, of course, and we're going to get to my man. I'm a martini man.
I can see that.
I love
you do gin or vodka?
Gin. I love it. Gin, martini.
Dirty martini?
No, with extra olives.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No juice, though. No olive juice.
No.
All right.
No. I like the glaze of ice that forms.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm there with you on that
Those
one.
little crystals.
Oh, dude, I can do a gin. I can do a gin martini, man. I can go for that.
Let's get
Man,
fancy. Let's get some fancy cocktails one day.
Yeah, I like it. All right, joining us, he, of course, give us the recommendation for this weekend, and it's Halloween week.
Yeah.
So our Halloween theme continues. It's Halloween month, excuse me. So our Halloween theme continues with this man, TV Todd. Act like a man. You can't handle the truth.
It's time for TV Todd.
TV Todd. Ta.
Got his new era.
Cuz.
Hockey shirt on.
Dude, look at that.
Dude, there's so much fun to watch. How about the power play? How different it looks.
Oh my God! There's movement. It's fast. It's a bit unpredictable. Yeah, I like what I see so far.
Yeah, it's dude, just fun. How about the Jet? We talk about Michkov all the time. The Jet, man, he's freaking 18 years old. This kid, are you kidding me?
He's making a case, right? I mean, at this point, I cannot see.
Stay.
Yeah, you got to stay. And listen, Torts loves him. It's been clear, and I get why Torts loves him. He brings a lot of energy to this lineup. It's exciting. I think the place is going to be rocking tomorrow night.
I agree. Are you headed down?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh. Yeah.
Todd in the house.
Let's pregame, Todd. Let's pregame.
Are you going, VG?
Nah, but I'll go down and hang out for a bit somewhere close by. I'm always up for a party or pregame. Yeah.
I love it.
Torts is like cuddly now. He's all giddy and cuddly, this guy, Tortorella. I love it.
Yeah, everybody. I love how everybody's so focused on the fact that the guy smiles every now and then. I mean that's where we're at now.
He can break players. You don't want him to break anybody, but he looks great right now.
No, listen, he feels, I think he kind of feels the way Cuz describes it at the top of the show. I think Torts is actually having fun.
Yes.
And that's what it is. We look at the other three teams, and there's a degree of angst with all three of them, right? With the Flyers, it's just easy. Like, all right, you know what? And it's the stage of their rebuild. And this is a good stage because you got guys to watch, to enjoy, to watch grow. There's no expectations of winning. So it's just kind of a feel-good, hey, let's go for a ride. Now, you got about, 2 seasons of this. With the end of next season, let's make the playoffs. But you feel good about them. And they're fun. They're different. And watching Skill, dude, I'm locked on Michkov everywhere he goes.
Yeah, he's exciting to watch because you never know what he's going to do on the ice. I mean, the guy sees the ice better than almost any player I've seen for the Flyers in a few decades. And you never know what he's going to do. It's going to be exciting. And I don't know, man. Yeah, I know we're in a rebuild and we have these expectations that are lower and realistic, but you watch. This team can surprise you. Watch them crack the playoffs. It can very well happen.
They could do it. I agree. I'm just saying there's not you have to make the playoffs. Like, you're the Eagles, you have to make the playoffs.
Oh my God. I mean, we're sitting here having angst over playing the Giants. That's troubling to me in and of itself.
It's true.
Yeah, we're right there with you.
All right. It'll be a haunted house up in the Meadowlands Sunday.
Ooh.
But this is part of our theme for this week.
Love it.
The theme this week in Halloween month is haunted houses.
All right.
Yeah. So you come up with a
great
good
theme
stuff, right? Like a bunch of good stuff for us. The greatest.
Yeah, I loved when you text me that theme because it made me think for a minute. It's not as obvious as the vampire theme or something like that. But and I know that there's a film that's got to be on VG's list. That's on my top list as well.
I got my 5.
All right, I can give you 10. I'll give you 5. All right, I think the GOAT of haunted house films by far.
Can I guess?
Guess it.
Amityville Horror.
No, that's number 2 for me.
Goat. Yeah. That's number 1.
Oh, I'm gonna give you one that you're gonna be like, are you kidding me? Of course. The Shining.
Oh yeah.
That's a haunted hotel.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I agree with VG. You're missing hotel versus house.
Yeah.
Seriously?
It's a hotel.
Yes.
God.
We're going that granular?
I was in my list.
I just watched that movie this week.
I was thinking house. I'll be honest with you. You're not wrong in the sense that it is a bit granular to say. But when I was thinking house, immediately Amityville came to mind.
Yeah. Listen, Amityville is my number 2 on the list.
Now I got to put Motel Hell on my list.
Motel Hell. I loved Motel Hell. But the Amityville Horror is interesting for a few reasons. Number one, we've talked about on this show a million times how Jaws affected culture, right? People were scared to go in the water. They still are scared from Jaws, right? Amityville Horror back in the 70s scared the hell out of everybody across the country. There was a book, right? It was a book that was written about this house in New Jersey that was haunted and whatnot. And then the movie comes out in 1979. The Flies, the Get Out, all that stuff. I mean, eventually it was debunked. But you remember, cuz there was a time period where everybody thought it was real and were freaked out.
That fly. Anytime I see a couple flies, I think of that fly scene.
Oh my God! The priest is there blessing the house, and the flies start to come, and they're on his nose, and he's like this, and then they just appear. And that was creepy.
And there's that style of window of those houses. You'll know that style.
It looked like an evil. And it would light up red. That movie, I was a little boy. It scared the hell out of me.
I agree.
And the father waking up at 3:15 every morning.
Absolutely, and the basement steps, the pig, the whole thing was great. But VG, you make a great point. To this day, when people see that design of windows, they always say, "Oh, it's an Amityville horror window."
Amity house, yeah,
I'm out on that. Like I can't live in that. Like I'm good.
With you.
Like I don't care.
That's amazing. Well, okay. If we're not going to do hotels, then VG, can we do cabins? Can we do cabins?
Wow, the cabin.
A cabin's a house.
Yes, I would agree.
Yeah.
Well, Evil Dead doesn't count for
cabin.
this.
That's a cabin.
That's why I was going to ask you: is Evil Dead on your list?
No, because I find that more of a demonic possession film than a haunted house film. But yeah, it's a cabin.
Okay, how about this? Because this is on my list. How about Poltergeist?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Poltergeist, absolutely. Yes.
Come to the light. Come to the light.
They're here.
I think, and
I don't know, but
what was her name? The character.
I can't remember, but didn't she? I mean, she died pretty young, didn't she? Tragically.
Sad.
There's been a bunch of people dying from that movie.
Carol Ann or something.
Oh, you might be right with Carol Ann.
Yeah, that sounds really familiar.
Come to the light,
that lady was
Carol
so
Ann.
creepy. That older lady was so creepy.
She's the creepiest lady ever. I see that lady.
Creepy lady
Oh
from
my
Poltergeist.
God, she still creeps me out.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
yeah.
She should.
That was
Even
one of the great
dude,
like.
Too, who come with they looking like a skeleton,
The
human
skeleton,
guy.
like the preacher dude. The preacher guy
with
is
the
so
black,
scary. The black hat, and the black
that freaking
bolo
guy.
tie.
Get the hell out of here with that guy. There's another guy
That's
with a bat.
That was a huge. I mean, that was a huge theater hit, right? I mean, that was like a big weekend, Friday night, packed, sold out type film. And I know they're remaking it, or I heard they're remaking it, which I'm sure it's going to be, not as great. But that's on my list. There's a film that I love for a variety of reasons. I'm going to go a little deep here. It's called The House on Haunted Hill. It's from the there she is.
Come on, that lady. She appears in your house. You're running.
I'm out.
I don't want to go down. That lady's giving me nightmares now looking at her.
Oh man, throw that! Like throw Mama from the tree. She should have been sorry.
Look at her.
Another picture of her.
Yeah, man. There's gotta be like a YouTube of her talking. She's all creepy sounding.
I'll try to find something.
Yeah.
Oh, it's scary, that lady.
That lady, get out of here.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So this film, The House on Haunted Hill, it's been redone a whole bunch of times, but the theme of it is like, some rich guy offers people $1 million if you could stay overnight and last the night in a haunted house. And it's been remade a bunch of times. Netflix did a series that was actually really good called The Haunting of Hill House. But the original from 1958, do you know I know VG knows this guy. Do you know this director, called William Castle?
Yes.
William Castle is the king of the early horror and the gimmicks that occurred in a theater. So in that, and John Waters loves this guy for that reason. But in the theater during The House on Haunted Hill, he had a skeleton rigged up that would go flying through this theater at some point in the middle of it and just scare the hell out of the audience.
Oh, that's fabulous.
That's awesome.
That's fabulous. I love that.
That's
cool.
So that theme has been done a bunch of times, but I love the original. I'm not a huge fan of the found footage type movies, but I really like Paranormal Activity. I don't know if that counts, VG, because it is paranormal.
I love the found footage, but that first Paranormal's good. Yeah.
What about Insidious?
It's really strong, really strong.
What about that Insidious?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I find, there was a bunch of films that I'll put in like the Insidious category that are giant hits and they were good, but not my personal favorite, like The Conjuring or
I don't know.
Hereditary. You know, they're good films, but they don't stand out for me as anything super unique.
Okay.
You
know,
got, how about The Changeling? You
oh,
ever
that's
see
a
that?
good one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jersey
yeah, it's a good
Scott.
one.
His wife and daughter get run over by a tow truck driver, so he buys his house, and it's super creepy ghost movie, like 1983 maybe.
Yeah, great one, VG.
Yeah.
What else you got?
If I go old school, I like The Haunting, the 1963 The Haunting. I find that a creepy movie still.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
And then my last one, it's a take on the House on Haunted Hill. Linda Blair, 1981, Hell Night, where a fraternity
Hell
of
Night
kids have to sit in an old haunted mansion for the night. Yeah, that was a good one.
That's great. That's great. There were so many good movies of that era. Like, you know, we could just go on and on about that era with great films. There's also, I also think with horror movies, it depends. There's like a, you know, association of when you watched it. Did you watch it alone? Did you watch it at night? Did you go to a theater? Like, I have this film. I was working in New York back in like 2003, and I heard about this film. It was a Bollywood film called Bahoot, Bhoot, and that means ghost. And I decided to go see it, and I was working in Times Square, you know, for the weekend or week, and I went by myself to this little tiny theater. I was the only one in there, and I saw this film, and I'm telling you, I almost walked out. I never walk out of movies. I was so scared. I almost walked out 3/4 of the way through. I haven't gone back to watch it, although I've read about it, that it was a massive hit in Bollywood, and they've done sequels. But Bahoot, it's spelled Bhoot.
Wow. What's the
I heard
plot?
I heard it's on YouTube. The plot is a woman. They move into this home, and the woman starts to become possessed by a ghost that lives in there, and it's scary. It really did terrify me. So a lot of those films that you watch circumstantially are great. Like we talked about The Exorcist. You watch it alone by yourself at night, I guarantee you it's going to freak you out. You know, Smile 2 is in the theaters right now.
Oh, I want to see that.
The first, yeah, me too, because the first Smile freaked me out, and I loved it. I loved it. So I'm definitely going to see the sequel this weekend too.
Just being alone in the theater is scary. I find that eerie, man. Just being the only person.
Oh,
in the theater.
VG, I went to see Long Legs, right? Which isn't a particularly scary film.
Right.
There's nothing scary about it. But I was alone, and at the very end of the film, some woman walked into the wrong theater, and she came up behind me and whispered in my ear.
Dude, what? What did she whisper?
I almost she was like, "Oh, I think I'm in the wrong theater."
Oh, man.
I'm telling you,
You jumped.
I almost
Blocked her,
jumped. I seized. I lurched. I seized.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I saw people get knocked out.
Yeah, for sure. Creeping around on people in a horror movie.
I have a house movie. I don't know if it's like haunted house, but
Frasier.
The Strangers.
The Strangers. You know The Strangers?
I don't know.
Yeah, any film like
Jennifer.
that where you're in the middle of nowhere and people come, like real life people, not supernatural or monsters and everything, come to like abduct and terrorize you in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, I that scares me.
Yeah,
That was a great film. It was very original too. Like the concept of it, I felt was very original.
It's not haunted though. It's just
Absolutely.
crazy people.
Yeah.
It's just crazy people like in the woods, but they're being terrorized in this house.
I'd rather go up against a demon than crazy people in the woods.
Nah, man, the demon. No, you can't fight.
I can negotiate with a demon.
You can't negotiate with
you
it.
can negotiate with a demon.
I'm gonna get you, VG.
Yeah.
Nah, man.
You can sacrifice
Listen,
something.
You
good.
can't
sell
punch.
something
You
off.
can't punch the demon. The people you can fight.
Nah, those backwoods scary people.
Creepy.
They are scary people. I grant
Then
you,
you call the
but
cops and they're like, "Oh, what up, Cletus? You got a visitor?"
Yeah.
It's like they all know each other.
Yeah.
Always Cletus.
No,
Always Cletus.
not really. You don't want to be the cop named Cletus.
Oh, dude.
You know, one and also one if you're gonna go TV series, one to go back and revisit if you haven't is the original American Horror Story season, which was called Murder House. That is a true ghost story and really good. Well done.
Yeah, I love that. That's what got me liking the show. That was really good. Hey, you know what's funny? Bringing back the haunted house thing. When I was on the air, I did when I was on the radio, I used to do every Halloween, I would say any encounters, right? And the phone lines would be lit up like Christmas tree. and people would be talking about their ghost encounters. And if you listen to people talk about them, they were not lying. Like, I could tell when somebody's BSing. When they would tell the story, there were so many stories, like especially the Revolutionary Civil War, like all the stuff that happened here in Pennsylvania, right? Like there was all kind. They'd see soldiers. They'd have these run-ins. They had people in the house. All kinds of stuff. It would always freak me out because the stories. I would get 50 of them on a show, and they would be like they would pass the smell test.
Yeah, I totally 100% believe.
I've had one.
I've had encounters with ghosts.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, let's go. Share. JP, you share first.
Nothing crazy, but when I lived in my parents' house, I was like 12 years old. I was taking out my dog, and it was late at night. And then on the street, you see like the light posts, and under the light, I saw like some type of phantom or whatever just running, and it just runs up the street, and then it just disappeared. That's all I have, but that's enough for me to go. Like, I'm out. I'm out on the
Phantom.
Yeah, I'm down with a phantom. Yeah.
It's not a Philadelphia Phantom. He's a tickle to the Phantoms.
Hey.
What do you got?
So I grew up growing up in a big rancher. That's what my parents live in. So we had this like upstairs kind of, not an attic, but it was kind of like a loft hangout. And we would have our TV up there. And I was probably 11, 12 years old. And I'm there by myself in the house. And all of a sudden, I start hearing someone whispering my name. Andrew.
Oh, I'm out.
And I'm
dude.
like, oh, it's my parents. It must have come home. So I ran downstairs to go into the kitchen. That's where our door was to come in. No one's there. I go around the house. No one's there. I go back upstairs. Half hour, 45 minutes. I hear the whispering again. So it goes away. So a couple days later, I'm out in the backyard by myself, and I look into the house, into the window of the house, and I see this lady in this white dress standing there in the window. I kid you not. I freaked out. I ran inside thinking that someone was there. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
The lady in the white dress, Andrew.
Yep.
Anything else? You ever hear from her again?
No.
How'd she look? Was she hot?
I couldn't really tell. She was like very washed out, looked very pale.
You in a ghost, bro?
But
she was a ghost.
But
what do you think?
Yeah. Let's check it out.
Wait,
I'm freaked out.
Just got back from Cancun.
Yeah, it was really scary. I was really scary.
They are freaky. It is a freaky encounter.
That's great stuff. Now, see, you never know, Todd.
I love it, man. That's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun. Washed out and pale.
You ever have a run-in?
I had one time I woke up in the middle of the night and I was walking down my hall and I saw what I thought was like floating in the hallway like an orb, like a glowing orb. And I came back and I told my wife, I said, you're never going to believe this. I think I saw like a presence or something. And then, of course, I realized outside my house is a road and there were headlights that were coming through and like reflecting and actually in my hallway reflecting. So I debunked it quickly, but for a minute there, I got a little freaked out.
Look at that.
Sure. I had a little slender shadow man in my hallway when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I see it all the time. Like, when I was trying to go to bed, I'd see it walk past the hallway all the time.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Why does it always torture kids?
That's a great question.
Because they're always getting the kid. Ain't true.
Yeah. I was around the same age, too, when I saw mine.
Yeah, they're always after the kids, these spirits.
No, they're after us.
It's because we're
just trying to communicate with us.
Well, they communicate with kids. They're not going up
like poltergeists. They communicate with the kid.
Maybe they're just because the innocence and that, like, kids can see different plane of existence.
Maybe the kids will hear our message. Right. Maybe they'll believe.
Yeah.
Right. True.
Do you guys speaking of haunted houses, do you guys do haunted houses for the season? Do you go to them?
I haven't been to one.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah, we've gone to many of them. See, in this part of the state, I mean, in central Pennsylvania, there are Field of Screams. I mean, there are so many, and they're pretty good. But, now you'll have to research this, but they were telling me, like, I went like a year or two ago, and they, how you're always like, well, listen, at the end of the day, they're not going to ever touch you or anything in these houses. Now they can touch you. They can they can like graze, like grab your leg and stuff like that. And that's where I'm like, I'm out.
No, dude, like,
I'm out now.
If you go to the penitentiary here in town, you can agree to get this like glow necklace put around you, and that means they can grab you and take you away from your party and put you in a dark area of the prison, and you got to find your way back to your party.
Wow.
No, I'm out. I'm out on that.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, that's cool. That actually does sound fun, I'll be honest with you.
All right,
That's pretty good.
Ty, where do you categorize it? Because there is a very haunted house in that one.
Yeah, I see that on some people's lists. I don't know.
Because it's also like a slasher.
Yeah, and so much of that happens outside of a home. You know, I say if you're going to go Stephen King, The Shining definitely fits into our discussion.
It's great.
And he hated it. Kubrick made it a great film, and Stephen King hated it, redid it on his own, and it stunk.
Yeah, why would he hate it?
Because he veered off the book.
I mean, I know, but still, it was a great film.
Yeah.
I mean, Jack was amazing. It's just a great film.
Yeah. I went out there. I went out in Oregon to see the actual, the exterior because it's real. It's in Oregon, the exterior of the home. It's not where they shot the interiors, but it's cool when you pull up and you see it. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, that sounds good.
Todd, that's actually one of my guilty pleasures. I love watching film location YouTube videos. Like, just like Friday 13th, like going back now in 2024, seeing what it all looks like now. I love those.
Yo, do you know, like that Camp Crystal Lake, you can go and stay a weekend there.
I saw that.
They have it set up just like the movie of Friday 13th.
That's the other thing. So I don't like the camp. I don't like that woods stuff.
Yeah, the woods is bad, man. Bad things happen in the woods. Crazy people, crazy animals.
Just there.
So you can't camp. You're not camping with Frazier.
Yeah, he's like,
I don't want to run into the woods. You think I want to run into Frazier in the woods?
He's scary. Why you don't know? He looks like he could be a creep.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Look, you look at Todd. You go,
I see Todd in the woods. We're good.
Yeah, what's up, brother? I see Frazier going out.
Yeah, man. Feet don't fail me now.
Yeah.
Got a big axe in my hand. I'm coming for you.
I can see that.
I can see that. Yes, totally. Well, my brother, always a great hanging, man. This is the best. You have anything other, real quick, if people are looking for something more mainstream?
Yeah, I'll give you one. I'll give you, besides the what's in the theaters we talked about, two to catch this weekend. Finally, my favorite horror trilogy right now is X, Pearl, and Maxine. Maxine just came out on Max starting today to stream, so you can watch all three of the trilogy. Best horror trilogy in ages. And then also, there's a cool film that's on Netflix starting today called Woman of the Hour. And it was directed by Anna Kendrick. She actually stars in it. It's a sort of fictionalized but sort of true story about, you remember the dating game from the 70s, the classic game show? There was a woman that went on there, an aspiring actress. Actually, I think she was from Allentown, believe it or not. And she is on the game show. She meets a guy from the dating game, and he turns out to be a prolific serial killer in the 70s.
Wow.
Oh man.
Yeah. So that's out. That's out today. Woman of the Hour on Netflix.
Oh, I'm watching that.
And don't sleep on Love is Blind season 7.
Get the hell
Steph and Monica making major headlines everywhere with the drama.
Let's go.
I am sleeping on that.
My man, TV Todd. Great stuff, brother.
Great stuff, dude.
Let's go Flyers.
Hey, next week, I have our next two, all right? We have 2 more Fridays before Halloween.
All right.
Okay. Next week, Slasher.
No, that's my wheelhouse.
All right.
Let's go.
And then the one before Halloween will be the great Halloween characters.
Ooh,
all right.
Okay.
So, that includes Frankenstein, like any monsters.
Like monster
and
stuff.
all kinds, but they're going to be a character.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So the greatest characters.
Okay.
And we'll go a little extra long on that segment. All right.
I like it.
I love it.
All right. Good stuff, Todd. Thanks, buddy.
See you, Todd.
Here he is, TV Todd. That's going to do it for us.
It's been 6 hours.
Yes, this week went by too fast, I almost said.
I know. 6 hours, what?
Have we been on for 6 hours?
2.5.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fun. It actually,
Light work.
It actually felt quick,
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
Yeah, it always does.
We didn't even get a chance to do the Friday 5.
well, why stop now?
Well, we have to. We got to use the studio. Everybody, have a great day, great weekend, man. All right, enjoy it. We love you. Go Birds. All right, let's beat New York. All right, go Birds.
We all silly like the mayor.